and welcome back to Artemisse Tarot. Thank you for joining me for today's reading all about the first time or the next time you will be meeting your person. This person could be your future spouse, your soulmate, your next significant relationship, or whoever else you may have on your mind. This person could be somebody you already know or someone you have yet to meet. First of all, I want to say I missed you, and I thank you for your patience with me for the past while. I had manifested my own soulmate, and I was experiencing a hectic transition and growth phase myself. Now then, without further ado, let us jump into the very exciting reading we have in store for you today. In this reading, we will be looking at the current situation of you and your person and the energies between you two right now. Then we will find out the steps both of you will be taking towards your first meeting or your next meeting if you've already met your person. We will also look into the circumstances of your meeting, like how you meet, and we'll also get timing clues as to when you might meet. We'll possibly get some hints as to who will be reaching out first to whom, and we'll end off with some advice on what might speed up or even hinder your meeting. There are 4 readings for you to choose from today, and as you choose your pile, please focus on the person you are asking about. And to help you decide, I have 4 different kinds of flower herbal teas. Group 1 has the Chrysanthemum tea. Group 2 has the rose tea. Group 3 has the Osmanthus tea. And Group 4 has the Honeysuckle tea. Take your time to pick the reading that's calling out to you the most. You are welcome to pause the video if you would like, and feel free to pick more than one reading if you're drawn to them, or if you want to ask about more than one person. Once you have decided, you can find your timestamp down below, and I will meet you at your reading. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the Chrysanthemum tea. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to your reading all about your first or next meeting with your person. Like I said earlier, this person could be your future spouse, your soulmate, your next significant relationship, or whoever you may have on your mind. If this person is someone you already know, this will be about your next significant meeting with them. And if this is someone you do not know yet, the reading will be about your first meeting with them. To start things off, let's see what clues the tea that you have chosen can tell us about the connection with your person, as well as your first or next meeting with them. Chrysanthemum tea is known for its cooling and healing, as well as cleansing properties. So right off the bat, I get the feeling that your relationship with your person is one of growth and healing, wisdom, and quiet transformation. Instead of being an instant, fiery, explosive connection, it is going to be more like a love that grows steadily over time. And it's going to be blooming like the delicate petals of the chrysanthemum as it slowly unfurls in warm water. Chrysanthemum tea is often used in traditional Chinese medicine to clear the mind, to relieve stress, and to promote longevity. It is a drink of calm reflection, and it's associated with emotional clarity as well as the passage of time. So in the context of your meeting, this could suggest that your encounter will not be one that can be rushed, but instead it will be with divine timing. For some of you, perhaps you and your person may have needed to walk separate paths, growing individually first before your fates re-intertwine. And when you do meet, there will be an undeniable sense of rightness, as if the universe has been conspiring to bring you together at a moment when you are truly ready to receive each other's love. For many of you, your first or next meeting with your future spouse or your special person may occur during a period of personal renewal. So this means either you or your person could be emerging from a chapter that no longer serves them. It could be a past relationship that didn't work, it could be a career change, or an internal shift in perspective, or a major change in mindset and outlook on life. There is a sense that your encounter with your person will be serendipitous, but it will be somehow also deeply intentional, as if both of you have been prepared for this moment through your individual journeys. The chrysanthemum symbolism suggests that you may not immediately recognize the depth of this connection, but just like the slow infusion of tea, it will gradually reveal its warmth and meaning over time. The setting of your meeting could be somewhere peaceful or calming and healing, like maybe a quiet cafe or a library or bookstore, or maybe out in nature or other places that encourage thinking and calm and gentle conversation. Maybe you are sitting alone, lost in thought, when a small but significant interaction with this person shifts your awareness. There's also a possibility that for a few of you, your meeting will occur through a shared connection or a mutual friend, but it will feel very effortless, as though it was orchestrated by destiny rather than by the person who is intervening for you. And unlike fleeting romances that might burn brightly but fade quickly, this love of yours is one that builds through conversation and trust, and you will have a deep understanding with each other. The moment of your first meeting may not be anything that's normally very notable, but for some reason, it's going to linger in your mind and is going to grow stronger with each passing day. For some of you, this reading suggests that a reconnection with someone from the past could be possible, where time has allowed both of you to grow into the right versions of yourselves. Because chrysanthemum tea is associated with longevity and endurance, it hints that this relationship has deep roots. And even if it took some time to blossom, it's going to work out and it's going to be beautiful. As for some timing clues, the chrysanthemum blooms in autumn, which may be a clue that your meeting could be during the season for many of you. It could also be a metaphorical autumn, which means a period of personal transformation and reflection, because autumn is a time when old leaves fall away and it makes room for new beginnings, much like the love that is destined to enter your life. You may be noticing more synchronicities when you are in a state of peace and also of self-acceptance, when you are no longer searching but you're simply just existing in harmony with yourself. If you are drawn to this chrysanthemum tea, your advice could be to pay attention to all the still moments, the little places of peace, and also the conversations that leave a lasting impression. Your love is definitely on its way. It is arriving, not in a rush, but in its own perfect time. Just like how the unfurling petals of chrysanthemum tea will be revealing their beauty, but only when the water is warm enough to receive them. Now then, let's get into our tarot cards. Today I'll be using the beautiful Oriens Animal Tarot, and we will do the reading in a person 1 and person 2 style. Feel free to identify for yourself which one is you and which one is your person. And of course, if you seem to resonate with both sides, it's likely that you and your person could be strongly mirroring each other. We shall start off with an energy check to help you make sure that you are at the right reading. These 2 cards right here will represent the overall energy of you and your person. For person 1, we have the Knight of Wands, which is the dolphin. And for person 2, we have The Ten of Wands, which is the beaver. Wow, this is already starting out to be really interesting. You both have Wands energy, which is fire energy, but both of your animals live in the water. So perhaps you are multifaceted or balanced or have the best of both worlds in your lives. In this way, you two are very mirroring of each other, but at the same time, you two are quite different as well. So let's start with person one, who is our dolphin person. The energy of the dolphin person is very vibrant and charismatic and full of motion. But we see that the image of the dolphin here is facing away from the beaver. So for many of you, perhaps this dolphin person could likely not be actively seeking out love at this moment. The person might be swept up in the current of their own ambitions, their adventures or passions, or fully immersed in pursuing their personal goals and other experiences. They do have a natural spark, a magnetic presence that draws people in without even trying. People around this dolphin person are likely very charmed by their sense of humor, by their confidence, or by their dynamic and adventurous and amazing lifestyle. They are truly the life of the party, and they light up any room that they enter. The dolphin person embodies the classic fire energy of the Knight of Wands. This is fast-moving, driven, and prone to acting maybe a little bit on impulse. They are bold, they're daring, and unafraid to dive into new experiences head first. But beneath this fiery exterior, there lies a deeper and gentler side, and this perhaps is the true nature of the dolphin person. This softness is wrapped in intuition and emotional intelligence and compassion, though they may only reveal this side to those they truly trust. The dolphin on this card, as we can see here, shimmers like a blue crystal, which is an interesting juxtaposition against their fire sign traits. This suggests that even though they could be impulsive and action-oriented, there's also a core of a deep clarity and intuitive wisdom within them. Their path to love is likely one of learning to balance their fiery passions with their inner emotional world, and it's going to be like a dance between action and reflection. When you meet this dolphin person, you might first be dazzled by their confidence and playful, charming nature, but over time you'll come to see that they are thoughtful and empathetic beneath the surface. Much like the chrysanthemum tea, the connection with the dolphin person could bloom more slowly, because their gentler side would only reveal itself when the conditions are just right. In contrast, the beaver person's energy is more grounded. It is open and more mature. Unlike the dolphin, the beaver here faces forward on this card, symbolizing emotional readiness and a heart that is open to connection, even if they have been carrying a heavy burden, because the Ten of Wands often represents someone who has reached the end of an exhausting cycle, be it emotional, professional, or even spiritual. This is someone who knows what it means to carry weight on their shoulders, and they are currently in the process of releasing or transforming that load. Much like the beaver's nature in the wild, this person is industrious. They are practical and they're deeply committed to things and people that they care about. Their loyalty runs deep, and they don't shy away from hard work in relationships or in life. The beaver person is a natural builder, someone who wants to create a stable and safe and fulfilling environment and future, both for themselves and their loved ones. Interestingly, the beaver, like the dolphin, is linked to the water, but also to land, giving this person an innate adaptability. This person could be able to flow between emotional vulnerability and practical strength with more ease than the dolphin person. The beaver's journey has taught them patience and endurance and the value of emotional resilience, which aligns beautifully with the chrysanthemum tea's themes of healing and quiet transformation. When the dolphin encounters the beaver may be at a turning point. They're releasing old burdens and they're ready to start a new chapter. For some of you, the beaver person has already done the deep inner work needed to sustain a mature and lasting relationship. And unlike fleeting attractions or romances, the beaver person will be offering depth and stability and the promise of long-term commitment. And once the burdens of the past are fully set down, the beaver person can really step into this role. The terms busy beaver or eager beaver come to mind, so perhaps for some of you, this beaver person's schedule is often very full and they are running around, doing everything and helping everyone. The dolphin and the beaver are at different stages of personal evolution, it seems, but both are carrying the elements of fire and water energy within them, yet they're expressing in unique and different ways. The dolphin is bold, free-spirited, and in the prime of their journey, but they're still maybe learning the rhythm of emotional depth. The beaver is strong, adaptable, and emerging from a phase of personal struggle with a readiness for authentic connection. The Chrysanthemum tea hinted that this probably would not be a love of instant explosions, but instead it will be gradual and steady unfolding. The dolphin and beaver balance each other perfectly in this way. One is lighting the flame of excitement and curiosity, while the other is offering the grounding that is needed for true emotional growth. Often, people want that kind of love at first sight or struck by lightning feel. But honestly, I think this kind of meaningful, soft but certain kind of meeting plants seeds for a very healthy and everlasting relationship to build. If you are resonating with a dolphin, the beaver, or even a bit of both, then you have chosen the right reading. If not, feel free to try a different pile that you may have been drawn to. For this next part of your reading, we'll look at where each person is at when you two are just about to meet. These cards will tell us your and your person's energies at the time of your first or next meeting. For the dolphin person, we have the Ace of Cups. Oh, I love this card. This is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck. Look at how cute this little otter is. And also for your Oracle card, we have the Ancient Ones. And for the beaver person, there is the Fool, which has this picture of this little baby turtle. And for your Oracle, we have Burning Hero. Starting with the dolphin person. When the dolphin is on the verge of your first or next meeting, their heart is now wide and overflowing with new emotional beginnings. That is the magic of the Ace of Cups. We saw earlier that the dolphin was facing away from the beaver, meaning they weren't particularly looking for love, but now we see the dolphin has reached a stage where they want to love and they want that love to come right in. In this deck, the image of an adorable otter cradling a shimmering cup is a symbol of emotional purity, of vulnerability, and the readiness to give and receive love. Whether this person realizes it or not, the universe is gently nudging them toward a soulful connection. Even if they've been the type to focus on adventure or work or even lighthearted encounters, at this time their heart will be unusually tender and is going to be craving something deeper and more meaningful. For those who are meeting their person for the first time, the dolphin person will likely be in a moment of personal emotional renewal, perhaps having just opened their heart to the idea of love again after a long period of self-focus or healing. Even if they weren't consciously looking for a relationship, something within them will be ready to embrace it when the two of you cross the paths. For those who have already met their person, the Ace of Cups signals a beautiful fresh start for your next meeting. It could be that the dolphin person has reached a point of emotional clarity, finally recognizing the depth of their feelings. If your past connection with your person that you've already met felt one-sided or unspoken or out of sync, this card promises a soft new beginning for the dolphin, and this will be where emotions start to flow freely. I also want to mention that the thought that otters hold hands while they sleep just came to mind. They do it because they don't want to drift apart, and I'm getting such a warm feeling right now. The dolphin person is ready to find their forever person, and they want to take their hand and never let go. As for the oracle card of the Ancient Ones, there's an added layer of depth here. This is not just any connection. It's one that is woven from the threads of past lives, of ancestral blessings and knowledge. The dolphin person might feel some kind of inexplicable pull or a deep sense of knowing when they meet the beaver. As if your souls have crossed paths before, even if this is your first meeting with each other. Whether or not the dolphin is spiritually inclined, their intuition will be whispering that this meeting is significant. For some of you, the dolphin might be having dreams about the beaver, as well as this fated meeting. Perhaps others would experience synchronicities, as if your past lives are giving you clues that something big is about to happen. Maybe you see repeating numbers or imagery, or you can't get a particular song out of your head. In the moments leading up to this meeting, the dolphin person will be really open and almost expecting for this meeting to happen. Meanwhile, on the other side, the beaver person is stepping into this meeting with the fresh and open-spirited feeling of the Fool. Represented here by a cute little baby turtle who is fresh-faced and curious and setting off into the unknown. This card speaks of beginnings and trust and surrendering to the journey. The beaver person may be starting over or approaching love and life with a beginner's heart. They might be venturing into a new phase where they've chosen to release past baggage and leap forward, even if they don't yet know where that path might lead. We saw previously that the beaver was feeling very burdened and overwhelmed before with the Ten of Wands energy. But like we said, Ten of Wands represents the end of an important cycle. I'm really happy to see that right on the verge of your first or next meeting, the beaver person will be releasing all of this heaviness, and they're now walking forward with a fresh energy of the Fool card. For some of you, keep in mind that the Fool card has a turtle on it. Turtles are known to be slow but steady. This could mean that although the beaver has dropped their burdens and they're moving forward with new hope and optimism, it could be of the slower and steadier type of approach. For those who are meeting for the first time, the beaver person could likely be at the beginning of a new chapter in life. Could be a new job, a new city, a new hobby, or simply just a new state of mind. Their heart is open and unguarded, and they're ready to explore love, even if they aren't consciously seeking it. They are shedding old fears and stepping into the unknown with a quiet kind of bravery. And for those who have already met their person, the Fool card suggests that for your next meeting, the beaver person is finally ready to take a leap of faith. If before there was hesitance and overthinking or emotional weight, your next meeting marks a fresh start, and it will be a chance to begin again with more innocence and a sense of wonder. As for your oracle card, the Burning Hero, it confirms that the beaver person has fought through inner battles to reach this moment here. They may have faced heartbreak, disappointment, or long emotional struggles, but the hero within them hasn't given up. This card shows they've done the work, burned away old patterns that did not serve them, and they're now ready to rise from the ashes, even if love still feels a little bit scary or unfamiliar. Their courage will make the connection feel very inspiring. Together, the dolphin and the beaver are both standing at the gateway of something new. Both of you are on the cusp of emotional rebirth, and even though your journeys do look quite different, you will both be here at this point together. If you have not yet met, your meeting is set to unfold when both are quietly open, whether you realize it or not. The dolphin person will feel a gentle undercurrent of longing for emotional connection, even if they're still wrapped up in a busy life. The beaver person will be much more unburdened and feeling more brave. They'll be taking chances on life and following their heart without attachment to what outcomes might be. And the moment you meet, there will be a feeling of curiosity and recognition, and it will be a spark that grows stronger over time. For those of you who have already met your person, this next meeting between you and your person will signal a profound shift. The dolphin person's heart is softening and it's ready to explore deeper emotions, while the beaver person is embracing the unknown and more willing to risk vulnerability for love. The next time you meet, your energies will feel much lighter, more open, and perfectly aligned for something beautiful and meaningful to begin or to begin again. This meeting, whether for the first time or for the next time, this will be blessed with both innocence and ancient wisdom. There will be a promise of a love that is both soulful and sincere, unfolding in perfect timing, just like the petals of our chrysanthemum tea. Moving on to our next set of cards. These cards will tell us how you and your person will be meeting. There could be clues about who is reaching out to whom. Maybe it's by chance, or maybe it's through a specific event. So for the dolphin, we have the 8 of Cups, which has an image of, I believe this is a cuttlefish. And the oracle card we got is Hidden Beauty. Wow. And for the beaver person, we have the 10 of Pentacles, which has an image of a whale on it. And for your oracle card, it is Coming Together. Oh, wow, I love this card as well. When it comes to how your first or next meeting happens, these cards reveal a quiet but powerful sense of fate at work, almost as if you and your person have been circling each other like constellations for some time, just waiting for the stars to finally align. For the dolphin person, the 8 of Cups shows that the dolphin person is in a phase of withdrawal or escape from something that once held meaning but now no longer serves them. Whether it's a past relationship, a life situation, or an old version of themselves, this dolphin person is making an important emotional decision, which is to walk away even if the path ahead is unclear. The cuttlefish here adds an extra layer. This creature is known for its speed, its intelligence, and its ability to shift directions in an instant. How the dolphin finally meets the beaver may feel rather unplanned, or even accidental, as if they were darting away from something else entirely, and suddenly they find themselves face to face with the beaver. The Hidden Beauty Oracle card deepens this idea. It suggests that perhaps a dolphin person almost misses the moment, or for some of you, this could mean that the dolphin doesn't fully see the significance right away. Maybe they were distracted or lost in thought, or not even expecting to meet anyone at all. The connection isn't obvious on the surface, but it's going to linger, and it's going to keep drawing them back for a second glance or a third glance, and definitely a second encounter. For a very few of you, the setting might even involve physical distance at first, maybe online, or a fleeting in-person meeting that grows eventually into something deeper later on. For those of you who have already met your person, this could suggest that when you last crossed paths, the dolphin person may have been in a moment of personal transition. The dolphin could have overlooked the connection for a while, or it may have seemed impossible or ill-timed for them. But as time passed, the dolphin started to see the hidden beauty in the bond, and this led them to becoming more optimistic toward the direction of this next meeting with the beaver. While the dolphin person seems to stumble into the meeting, the beaver person's path is rather calm and confident and steady. The Ten of Pentacles here shows a strong sense of direction and trust in your own journey. The whale is a large and unshakable and beautiful creature, and the whale glides through the depths with certainty, and he is drawn by deep instincts rather than surface level signs. When the beaver person arrives at this moment of meeting, there's going to be a quiet knowing in their heart, even if they can't explain it. Because the Coming Together Oracle card confirms the sense of alignment. The beaver person has reached a point where they're ready for genuine love and they're ready for the real thing. It's less about searching at this point, and it's a lot more about recognizing. Your meeting will feel like the final piece sliding right into place perfectly, and it will be a long-held desire manifesting into reality. For those of you who have already met your person, this could be that the beaver may have been more emotionally grounded and aware of the connection from the start, while the dolphin was still catching up. The beaver's certainty and groundedness will really help allow this relationship to grow. One of the most enchanting details here is how the images on your tarot cards, both the cuttlefish and the whale, they're swimming in the same orientation. This hints that you and your person have been perhaps moving in parallel for quite some time. Maybe your lives have been unfolding side by side, and even before your eyes finally see each other, you might have shared the same spaces, the same circles or experiences, but you only will finally see each other when the timing is right. This tells me that for many of you who picked this pile, you could be in a situation where you've already met your person and you are continuing to move in parallel with them. However, for a few of you, it is very possible that despite having so many opportunities to meet each other, you two never actually met. But this was because the universe was creating the perfect timing for your first meeting. Also, since both the cuttlefish and the whale are in this parallel orientation, for the majority of you, how this meeting happens is most likely not a case of one person chasing the other or one person initiating while the other follows. It's more like life itself has been slowly guiding you both on separate yet aligned paths, which allowed you to both grow into the versions of yourselves that are truly ready for this connection. And whether your meeting happens through coincidence or mutual connections or a twist of fate, it's going to feel like something that was quietly unfolding all along, just waiting for that perfect moment of recognition. Kind of like if you've been driving a long time and you never really noticed that in the lane next to you it has always been the same car, but finally you decide to look over. And oh my gosh, there's your person driving beside you all along. For those who haven't met your person yet, these cards could suggest that your meeting will happen when both of you least expect it. But it'll be when you're both in exactly the right place emotionally and physically. There will be no need for grand gestures or for searching. It's just going to be two souls arriving at the same moment in time. And for those who will be having your next meeting with your person, this moment is likely a little bit subtle, but it's going to be so meaningful, and it's going to be the kind of memory that lingers. And maybe all along you never really noticed, but looking back, you probably will realize that the threads of fate, they have been weaving you two together this whole time. Now for this next part of your reading, we'll finally get to look at what goes on during your actual first or next meeting with your person. We're going to take a peek at the thoughts and feelings of each person when you meet and your impressions of each other from that meeting. For the dolphin person, we have the tarot card Justice with an image of this owl with amazing piercing eyes. For this deck, the Justice card is number 8 instead of 11. So perhaps the number 8 or the month of August could be meaningful for some of you. And for your Oracle card, there is the Choice. Ooh. And let's see what we have for the Beaver person, starting with the Tarot card. There is the Empress. Oh, wow. On this card, there's an image of a stork dancing in the moonlight. And for your oracle card, we have, within nothing, there is everything. Wow. The moment of your first or next meeting with your person is going to be marked by gravity and undeniable soul recognition. There's something very fated in the way it unfolds, but also something deeply chosen. This is not merely the crossing of paths. It's going to be the converging of two lives that have long been unfolding in parallel all along. Both the dolphin and the beaver step into this moment with open eyes, open hearts, and an unshakable sense that this means something. For the dolphin person, the encounter is experienced through the lens of our Justice card. This is a major arcana that speaks to karmic alignment, to fairness and conscious awareness. It tells us that the dolphin arrives at this meeting not by accident, but by choice, and a choice that is not hurried or impulsive, but a choice that is made with clarity and internal conviction. The dolphin knows what this is. They understand intuitively and intellectually that something in this moment is so very right. They feel deeply that they are being given exactly what they deserve, not in a transactional way, but in the sense of cosmic balance. Because after all they've walked through, this meeting will feel like the dolphin person is returning to home, returning to equilibrium, returning to balance. Justice is represented here by the image of an owl with very piercing eyes, and the owl is a symbol of ancient wisdom and inner clarity. The owl doesn't see with just its physical eyes. Instead, it sees with insight, with understanding. And for the dolphin, this meeting feels like a moment when their inner knowing is confirmed by the external world. They're not just going to be stumbling into this connection, they're going to be recognizing it. The presence of the scales in this card is also very symbolic. It reflects a balance not just between people, but within the dolphin's own self. In the beaver, they will see a mirror. The dolphin's going to see a being who holds both fire and water, passion and peace, just like them. With the beaver, the dolphin feels whole. The dolphin feels seen and balanced and able to fully be their own self. Reinforcing this energy is our oracle card, the Choice. This is a card that shows the theme of conscious decision making. This is not a connection that happens by default or by accident, like we said. It is one that both people arrive at deliberately, especially the dolphin. The accompanying poem from the guidebook for this card adds a layer of timelessness to this meeting, and I will read it for you right now. Our lives are measured in choices we have made along the path we call living. Each compass point a possibility, each step an opportunity, seemingly random. Each decision moves us inexplorably in a direction both unknown and yet somehow familiar. For upon reflection, the strength we find in choosing, or the surrender of letting all unfold, leads us to the place we started from, when we made that first choice to be here again. This poem invites the reader to consider not only the choices that brought them to this moment, but also the soul-deep familiarity that it carries. For many, this meeting may be a reunion more than a first meeting, but it will feel like a return to a connection shared in a past life, and it's now being reawakened. Even if this is indeed a first meeting in this lifetime, it's not going to feel like one. It will feel like remembering. While the dolphin embraces this moment with conscious certainty, the beaver will be receiving it with open and intuitive grace, because the Empress card, which is another major arcana card, speaks of abundance and beauty and creativity and love in its purest and most nurturing form. The beaver feels the dolphin's presence like sunlight through the trees, warm and embracing and very, very safe. Whether or not the beaver identifies with divine feminine energy, they will step into this meeting with a softness that says, I am ready to receive. The Empress energy does not force or push. Instead, this energy allows. This energy holds space, and it loves without condition. The card's imagery of a stork dancing in moonlight suggests a peaceful and instinctive joy. There is an element of sacred rhythm here. The beaver doesn't overthink the moment. They feel it. The moon in the background also signifies their inner knowing, their intuition quietly confirming that this connection is real. In contrast to the dolphin's clear and piercing justice, the beaver's all-flowing presence and silent understanding. The oracle card, Within Nothing, There is Everything, also echoes the Empress's message of creation and sacred stillness. According to the guidebook, this card is about the vast potential held in stillness and the reality that the entire universe can be born from one quiet moment. The beaver may not enter the meeting with specific expectations, but from the nothingness, which is this moment of meeting, everything is going to begin. The poem for this card captures a simplicity and depth, and this is the exact simplicity and depth of the feelings that the beaver and the dolphin will be feeling. And I'll be reading it for you. It goes, The wind moves gently through the trees, quiet water flows, life's song calls softly. There are no grand declarations here, it's just feeling. Just presence and peace. The beaver doesn't need to say much because their heart says it all. Together, the dolphin and the beaver form a divine harmony. The fact that both are represented by major arcana cards in this moment is no accident. It means that this meeting is just as impactful and soul-stirring for both of them. The symbolism in the cards, they mirror a unity. Both the Justice card and the Empress card, they feature birds, one with an owl and the other with a stork, and both are under the quiet light of the moon. There is a deep mirroring here because both people are intuitive and wise and emotionally aware in this moment. They're just expressing those energies in different but complementary ways. Even the imagery lines up here. The owl is standing on the two scales of justice, and this echoes the posture of the stork, with its two wings spread out, showing that balance and grace are present on both sides. And of course, the oracle cards themselves, the choice and Within Nothing There's Everything, they also mirror each other as well. If I flip the choice card upside down, it resembles the Within Nothing card, like yin and yang. This is the core of your connection. You're not two halves of the same soul. You are two complete beings who balance and complement each other. You are not identical, but your energies are aligned in such a way that you two fit perfectly together. You bring each other into greater fullness just by being yourselves. And in the quiet, in the certainty, in this stillness, this meeting will change everything. Not with chaos, no, not with drama. Instead, it will change it with clarity and wisdom and a deep peace that says you found each other again. Wow, that was really beautiful. I actually have goosebumps. So for this last part of the reading, let's get some advice on what could possibly hinder this wonderful first or next meeting with your person, as well as what will help speed up this meeting. We'll start off with the things that could hinder you and get the tough things out of the way first. We have these two cards, and one is the Soul Journeys card, and the other is a Moonology Manifestation card. For your first card, there is Grief And its message is, I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And for your second card, we have Last Quarter Moon in Aquarius with a message, reflect on your priorities. So the first card you got is grief. At first glance, the orange color of this card immediately makes me feel almost kind of unwell, like an illness or discomfort. This is significant because for some of you, this sick kind of feeling may not be metaphorical at all. It could point to real physical or mental exhaustion, or emotional burnout, or even psychological or physical responses to grief that have taken root in the body. The beaver person, who earlier in the reading appeared to be under the energy of the Ten of Wands, which is a card that represents burdens and the feeling of overwhelm, this beaver may be particularly affected by this feeling. Grief doesn't always announce itself dramatically. It can exist in low-grade waves, like grieving a past relationship, a job loss, a friendship that might have faded, or even something greater. It's possible that either you or your person might have been in the process of integrating a major difficult life transition, and the emotional weight of that loss is clouding the path forward. There could be a fear that welcoming new love would either dishonor what was lost, or that the heart is simply too raw to try again at the moment. But the wisdom of this card offers a shift in perspective. It says to lose something is not the end. In reality, it creates space instead. And grief, when met with compassion and understanding, becomes space for new blessings to emerge. And when you or your person, whoever this is, can finally understand that what has been lost is not a punishment, but a transformation, then and only then can something new begin to bloom. The other card we got was the Last Quarter Moon in Aquarius, and it had the message to reflect on your priorities. This card brings in a more thinking type of energy, suggesting that one or both of you may currently be pulled in too many directions. The plate is full or even overflowing with obligations, with goals, and perhaps distractions. In this state, love might seem like a luxury or even a disruption. There could be a belief, it could be subconscious or a spoken one, that there simply isn't enough room for a relationship right now. Aquarius can be emotionally distant. Maybe you or your person could be avoiding emotional intimacy by immersing yourself in work or school or other intellectual pursuits. Is love being placed at the bottom of the list, and it's being framed as something that I'll get to later? If so, this card is a nudge to reprioritize. Love doesn't need to be squeezed in, it needs to be invited. And I will loosely interpret the Last Quarter Moon in Aquarius as around the end of Aquarius season, which is around mid-February. This time may be an essentially important time for many of you to notice these internal hindrances or for clearing these blockages. It could mark a turning point, a time when the distractions start to fall away and the heart begins to speak louder. The dolphin person, who was earlier associated with balance and conscious choice with our Justice card, they still may be holding on to a past emotional dynamic that left them questioning what they truly deserve. The Justice card showed us that the dolphin craves fairness and reciprocity, but grief could be coloring their perception of what's possible. They might be subconsciously afraid of repeating the past, or they might be unsure if they're truly ready to let someone in. The beaver person was previously burdened by the Ten of Wands, so they may be also overwhelmed with daily responsibilities or emotional weight that they can't even see the possibility of love clearly. If the beaver is someone who has been grieving, then their healing may still be in progress, And for some of you, the beaver might be feeling like they need to get their life together before they allow themselves to show up fully in a romantic connection. These hindrances are not necessarily blocks to your love story. They are simply part of the timing. And understanding them will give you power. You can acknowledge the grief without letting it rule you, and you can take an honest look at your priorities and make some real space, some emotional space for your love to arrive. Sometimes what feels like a delay is actually a preparation, and the more you tend to these hidden layers, the more magnetic you become to the connection that is already unfolding for you behind the scenes. And finally, to end on a positive note, let's see what factors will help speed up your wonderful first or next meeting with your person. 2 Soul's Journey cards actually popped out for you, which is great. And the first card is health. Oh wow, that's so funny that we were talking about feeling ill earlier with your blockages. This card here has the message, I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. And your other card is friendship with a message, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. Ooh, that's interesting. And for your last card, we have last quarter moon in Leo with a message, lighten up. I love when the cards all come together like this. So the health card comes as both reassurance and guidance. If you or your person have been going through periods of exhaustion, mental burnout, or chronic stress, this is a call to slow down and nourish yourself. It's not about becoming perfect before you meet. It's about choosing to treat your body, your heart, and your mind with the same love and care that you one day hope to receive from your person. And in that sense, this card ties in beautifully with the earlier themes of our 10 of Wands energy, which we were seeing with the beaver person, about carrying too much and spreading yourself thin. This health focus invites a pause, a rebalancing, and a loving commitment to your own well-being. But health isn't just about doctor visits or eating better. It's also about how you treat yourself emotionally. Are you speaking to yourself with kindness? Are you making time to rest, to reflect, and restore? Are you showing up for yourself as your own best friend first? This idea connects directly with our friendship card, which says, I understand that a friend is in my life for a reason. For some of you, this is literal. A friend might directly or indirectly connect you and your person. It could be through a conversation, a recommendation to go to an event, or a mutual gathering, or even a seemingly small gesture like tagging you in a social media post that leads to the meeting with your person. For a few of you, it could be interpreted as, this friend might actually be your person. As mentioned in earlier parts of our reading, this is a strong sense for many of you that your person is not a stranger. You might already know them as a close friend, an acquaintance who keeps circling back into your orbit, or someone you once shared an unspoken connection with. If someone's name or face immediately came to mind when this card was revealed, that may be a nudge from your intuition to who it could be. But even if you haven't met your person yet, this card is a reminder that the quality of your friendship with yourself will matter deeply. You have to be your own best friend. You have to show up for yourself first with loyalty, with humor, with grace. And you have to treat yourself as the person you would one day want to spend forever with. And in doing so, you open that door for someone else to love you in the same wonderful way. We also have the last quarter moon in Leo, which chimes in with a playful message, lighten up. After the emotional depth of our earlier sections of your reading, there was grief, priorities, burdens. This card offers a breath of fresh air. Leo energy is bright, it is creative and heart-centered. This is a card about stepping out of heavy emotional states and returning to joy. It's about shaking off fear and finding laughter again, and choosing optimism even if life isn't perfect. Your mindset matters more than you think, and joy is the gateway to love. Feeling joy, sharing joy, this brings love to you faster. And if we loosely interpret this card astrologically, the last quarter moon in Leo I'll just interpret as the end of Leo season, which places us near mid-August. This could be a powerful time and a powerful energetic window for you, whether that's when the healing begins to really take root, or when joyful events offer new opportunities to connect, or even when your meeting itself might occur. You should face this time period with curiosity and openness. For the dolphin, this could be that they are guided by these cards to remember the joy of the journey and not just the destination. The dolphin's strong sense of justice and direction could possibly lean into intensity, but this Leo card reminds the dolphin that laughter and rest and lightness are powerful forces of alignment as well. The health card might also urge the dolphin to check in with their own physical energy and ensure that their vibrant fire and water balance isn't being dulled by overexertion or stress. And for the beaver, who earlier carried such emotional burdens and has such deep sensitivity, the advice is that self-care is not selfish, it's sacred. The beaver's path to meeting the dolphin will be accelerated the more they slow down and breathe and allow themselves to feel joy again. And if the beaver has been struggling to release grief or to make room for new priorities, these cards offer a soft invitation to let the burdens go, not all at once perhaps, but more gently or piece by piece. The friendship card could also be a mirror for them to realize that they're not alone. Whether it's reconnecting with a current friend, or even that friend is the dolphin, or it could be reaching out for support. The beaver's next steps will be made easier by those already in their circle. Together, these three cards bring forward a bright and encouraging message. The message is you are getting closer. Your union is not just about fate, it's about alignment. And the moment you align with joy and care and conscious openness, the more naturally you and your person will be drawn together. So rest when you need to, and laugh when you can. And remember that even now, even before your meeting, this love is already in motion and it's making its way toward you. Those are all the messages I have for you today. I really enjoyed doing your reading, and I hope you liked the reading as well. As always, absolutely feel free to claim all the messages you would like, and please remember that this is a general reading, so never fear if not every single message was for you. Also, as always, I do also want to remind you that we have the ability to shape our own destinies and paths. So please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the power to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the rose tea. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to your reading all about your first or next meeting with your person. This person that you're asking about could be your future spouse, your soulmate, your next significant relationship, or whoever else you might be thinking about. If this person's someone you already know, then this reading will be about your next significant meeting with them. And if this is someone you don't know yet, the reading will be about your first meeting. So to start things off, the rose tea that you were drawn to can tell us a few things about this connection with your person, as well as your first or next meeting with them. People say that love is a lot like a rose. It's beautiful and delicate and full of meaning, but also it's strong enough to withstand the test of time. It is sweet and romantic, but also comes with a little edge and some thorns, reminding us that real love isn't just about the good moments. It is about growth and patience and deep connection. So if you are drawn to this rose tea, your love story is one that will feel very powerful, emotional, and definitely impossible to ignore. Rose tea is known for its ability to open the heart and soothe emotions and bring a sense of peace, and that energy is reflected in the way that you and your person will come together. This isn't a love that sneaks up quietly or feels unsure, because when you meet, it will feel real, intense, and maybe even a little bit overwhelming, but in the best ways possible. There's something about this meeting that will feel destined, like all the moments in your life have been leading up to this moment. Maybe you've been through heartbreak before, or maybe you've been focusing on yourself, healing, and learning to love your own company. Either way, when this person enters your life, it won't really feel like just another relationship. Instead, it's going to feel like something big and something significant, something that really, really matters. Since rose tea is all about romance and passion and deep emotions, your meeting with your future spouse is likely to carry that same energy. Picture a setting that feels warm and inviting, and throw in a little bit of magic. Maybe it's an art gallery, a candlelit cafe, or a beautiful outdoor garden where everything seems to just slow down for a moment. Somehow you catch each other's eye, and suddenly everything else around you seems to fade away. Or perhaps your meeting could happen at an event where emotions are running high, like a wedding or a reunion or even a heartfelt conversation with a mutual friend. There's something about this moment that feels significant, like it was meant to happen exactly as it does. Maybe you weren't even expecting to meet anyone that day, but of course the universe had other plans for you. For some, this could be even a reconnection. An old friend, a past love, or someone you once crossed paths with, but you never really saw them in this way until this meeting. The energy of rose tea suggests that it's a love that has roots, whether in this life or in a past lifetime. And when you do meet, there's going to be a feeling of, oh, it's you, finally. Roses bloom in spring and summer, which could mean your meeting happens during those seasons. But more than the actual time of year, this love will come into your life when you are in your own emotional spring or summer. So it's not a relationship that appears when you're still carrying emotional baggage or forcing things to happen. Instead, it's going to arrive when you've done the work or when you're open to real deep love. And before this meeting, you might start noticing little signs from the universe. Maybe roses seem to pop up everywhere, on book covers, in random bouquets, and in places you wouldn't normally expect. Maybe you start hearing love songs that actually makes you feel something. And these are small little nudges and hints that love is on its way. This is the kind of love that sticks with you for sure. It's not a passing crush or a fling, it's the kind of connection that feels like home. There's going to be instant chemistry, a magnetic pull that makes it impossible to ignore. But there's also depth and understanding and a feeling of safety in each other's presence. When you meet, it's going to feel like you've known each other forever, even if it is your first time meeting. And there's going to be a sense of ease, like you don't have to pretend or impress each other. You can just be, and that's enough. This love will have both sweet, romantic moments and also probably some very real and honest conversations, because you won't just be lovers, you're going to be partners, best friends, and each other's safe place. And like rose tea, your love story will be warm, comforting, and totally unforgettable. It's the kind of love that makes you believe in fate, and it makes you realize that some things are simply just meant to be. And when it happens, oh, you will know, because it won't feel like the start of something new. It's going to feel like you're coming home. I just got some goosebumps there. I have a great feeling about your connection with your person, and I'm really excited to get into our tarot cards. I'll be using the beautiful Oriens Animal Tarot deck today, and we are going to do this reading in a person 1 and person 2 style. Feel free to see for yourself which one is you and which one is your person. If you seem to resonate with both sides though, it's highly likely that you and your person will be strongly mirroring each other. So let's begin with an energy check to help you make sure this is the reading for you. These 2 tarot cards will represent the overall energy for you and your person. Starting with person 1, we have the card, the Justice. Oh wow, I can already tell this will be an exciting reading. And the Justice card is represented by the horned owl. As for person 2, we have the Chariot. Wow, that's amazing. Those of you who picked this reading, I really think this connection between you and your person is something extremely significant, perhaps a soulmate connection, because both of you are represented by major arcana cards. Let's start with person 1. Represented by Justice, which is this horned owl, let's call this person the owl person from now on. The moment I see this card, the first thing that strikes me is the owl's forward-facing stare. It is direct, it is piercing, and it looks completely unafraid. This person, whoever they are, maybe you could be your person, this is someone who's open to what the universe has to offer, including love. But this person is also cautious and discerning. Likely this person has been through enough in life to develop a strong intuition and a sharp ability to read people. They don't like to waste time, and they definitely don't play games. This person could have Libra energy in their chart, which could be in Sun, Moon, Rising, or strong placements in Venus or the 7th house. They have a natural sense of justice and fairness. They like things to make sense, and they strive for balance, not just on the outside, but also inside themselves. They live with integrity and a blend of logic and intuition. They're not ruled by emotion, but they're also not cold either. In fact, the coldness others might feel from them at first is likely more of a protective shell. And just like the horns on the horned owl, which aren't actually weapons, but look and sound like they could be, this person projects strength so that they don't get hurt. There's also a quiet magic about this person. With the moon glowing softly behind the owl on this card, we get hints of a divine feminine undertone here. That doesn't necessarily mean they're female or identifies with divine feminine energy. It's just that this person understands, or they're in tune with the subtle things in life. They have a depth to them, a softness underneath that stoic exterior. They might be night owls, literal or metaphorical, so that could be that they're drawn to quiet, introspective spaces. And when they love so fully. And even if they don't show it right away, you'll really feel that energy coming from them. Now then, let us turn to person 2. This is the Harpy Eagle with the Chariot card. This eagle person does not wait around. They're facing the owl head on. Literally, you can see that this eagle is facing toward the owl card. And this makes it very clear to everyone that this eagle is interested in the owl. The eagle person is the kind who makes the first move. There's no ambiguity here. They know what, or who they want, and they go for it. If this is your person, you're going to feel the intensity in how they look at you and speak to you, or even just when they're standing near you. It's electric. This eagle person is someone with strong Cancer energy in their chart, which is deeply emotional energy, but they're also fiercely protective. They are sensitive, though not in a fragile way, more like a tidal wave that carries everything in its path. There's something rare about them too, because harpy eagles are considered endangered, and this person may truly be one of a kind. Maybe they're the kind of person others are drawn to, but they can't quite figure them out. They might have many admirers, but they don't give their heart easily. And when they choose you, it means something. There's also something very striking about their appearance or presence. Maybe it's their eyes or their hair, their voice, something that stands out and something that lingers. Or maybe it's just their energy. They walk into a room and people notice. There is confidence here, but also depth. Like the owl person, they too are a strong and powerful being. So looks like you and your person aren't two people waiting to be saved. You two are individuals who know who you are, and you are amazing. And you're about to meet each other and be changed to become even better. Now, when we look at these two cards side by side, the synchronicities are impossible to ignore. Both of you are birds of prey. You're strong, intelligent, and independent. Birds might even show up as signs for you, maybe a feather on your path, or recurring bird imagery in dreams, or perhaps literal, actual birds appearing before you meet this person. And you and your person may both be high achievers. You're going to be perhaps used to doing things on your own, but now you two are on a collision course, not to break each other, but to come together and make yourselves even stronger. There is a mirroring here, and it's really beautiful. Take a look closer at the backgrounds in the cards. The owl here is standing on a scale, perfectly balanced, and the eagle is perched on a compass that is flanked by 2 crescent moons. Both scenes reflect duality and symmetry and, of course, balance. You and your person are likely mirrors for each other. One of you might be more logical and the other is a little bit more emotional. One moves a little faster, the Chariot card, and the other is a little bit more deliberate with the Justice card. But together, your energies just click right into place. And interestingly, in this deck, Justice card is numbered 8. This isn't the usual order because Justice is often number 11 in most of my tarot decks. And it feels actually rather meaningful because the Chariot card here is number 7. Almost like the owl person has purposely chosen to be next to the eagle so they can be closer to the eagle. Perhaps there's been a delay or a journey and now one of you is stepping forward to meet the other. Whether literally, like traveling, relocation, or changing a routine, or it could be metaphorically, like dropping your emotional guards and opening the heart. Regardless, it's a powerful gesture that moves this connection forward. This first or next meeting with your person is not going to be a light or casual meeting. This is the kind of encounter where time seems to pause for a moment. You lock eyes and you just know. Maybe not everything changes all at once, but it's enough to shake something awake inside you. And this is going to be someone who will challenge you and inspire you and meet you with equal intensity. You will see yourself reflected in them in ways that feel even a little uncanny. It might scare you even a little, but it's going to also feel exhilarating. And so, if this reading resonates with you so far, take it as a sign. This person, the one that you can't stop thinking about, or the one you haven't met yet, but you can feel approaching, this is not a coincidence. Whether you're the owl or the eagle, your energy is already moving toward each other. For this next part of your reading, we will look at where each person is at when you two are just about to meet. These cards shall tell us your and your person's energies at the time of your first or next meeting. So, for the Owl person, we have the Eight of Pentacles for our tarot card. And also for your Oracle card, it is Rings of Time. For the Eagle person, we have the Queen of Swords, which has this beautiful hummingbird on it. And for your Oracle card, there is, oh wow, it's the Heaven card. Look how beautiful this card is. So it seems like at the time of meeting, the Owl person is deeply immersed in their own world of creation and growth and perseverance. The Eight of Pentacles shows the image of a weaver bird, and this bird is gracefully suspended upside down, and this little bird is tirelessly weaving its intricate little nest. This bird isn't just building for the sake of it, it's crafting a sanctuary, which is a safe space, and it has a purpose. And that's exactly what the Owl person is doing. Perhaps they're building their career, they're studying, or pursuing a personal passion, or healing an inner wound. Whatever this is, it's taking some time, and they are willing to put in every moment and every effort. But there's a bit of irony on this image, because the weaver bird, despite being such a diligent little bird, it's upside down. And by being upside down, it ends up that this bird is facing directly toward the Eagle person's card. And this subtle detail suggests possibly a shift is already happening within the Owl person. Perhaps they don't even fully realize it, but their energy is already reaching toward the one they're destined to meet. It's like catching yourself daydreaming about love, or seeing someone's silhouette in a dream before ever knowing their name. Something in this Owl person's soul already knows that the Eagle is close, and the Owl's heart is opening up to receive this energy. The Oracle card Rings of Time echoes this feeling as well. First of all, the number is 44 on this card, and this 44 reduces to 8. And the tarot card that we got also is the Eight of Pentacles. Plus, the Justice card was also number 8. So for many of you, the number 8 is definitely significant in some special way. Or perhaps it means the energy of the number 8 is very important for the Owl person or for this connection. But back to the Rings of Time card. The blue colors here speak of introspection. There's a calmness, and I feel a sense of patience. There's something beautifully solemn about this moment. The Owl person could be in a season of life where they feel isolated or even a little bit left behind, especially when it comes to love. Yet that same sense of time moving slowly is quite sacred. It's like the Owl person is not just waiting. This owl is preparing and building emotional depth, resilience, and strength. And intriguingly, the figure in the image of this oracle card, it has a tall neck, pointed beak. It kind of resembles the eagle, almost like this is an abstract version of the eagle image on our Chariot card. So whether they know it or not, the owl person is already holding the image of their person in their soul, and they can already feel the eagle coming forth. If you've already met your person, this point in time is likely when you're still a little unsure of where things are headed. The owl person may have been pouring energy into other responsibilities, perhaps not yet clearly seeing the potential of this possible relationship. If you've not yet met your person, this time is about the owl person trusting that their effort and quiet yearning are not in vain. The person the owl is working so hard to become is exactly the person the eagle has been waiting to meet. Meanwhile, the eagle is entering this meeting with clear eyes and a powerful sense of direction. The Queen of Swords, which is illustrated here with a luminous, beautiful hummingbird, is so wonderful and colorful. This is someone who has been through enough to know exactly what they don't want, and they are no longer afraid to cut away what does not serve them. But don't mistake their clarity for coldness. This hummingbird is in vibrant color, which shows that the eagle person has evolved. Because if we look back to the Chariot card, the eagle image here has black and white coloring. But now they have all these beautiful colors in their life and in their perspective. The hummingbird is also sitting on top of these gorgeous flowers, which tells us that the eagle person is blooming, just like the beautiful roses of our rose tea. The eagle has refined their self, and they did it through truth and communication and discernment. They may be someone who now has learned to speak with precision and grace, and now they're someone who's not easily shaken. Their evolution into the hummingbird suggests a lightness returning to their life, a joy and freedom and newfound color. And yet, the hummingbird here is still facing and looking directly toward the owl's card. The eagle person is always facing the owl person and never wavering. Through growth, through evolution, the eagle person never loses focus of their owl. This is really sweet. The eagle person seems like someone who wears their heart on their sleeve, and their oracle card, Heaven, is just breathtaking. I immediately notice that the number on this card is 70, which reduces to 7, which is crazy because the Chariot card is 7. And this number confirmation synchronicity for both the owl and the eagle is really giving me all the goosebumps. This beautiful Heaven card tells us that this person is at or nearing a peak in their journey. They've likely had recent accomplishments, perhaps in work or education or a personal goal. But despite this success, there's a bit of a gentle ache, because you can see in the image of this card, there is a light in the distance on the peak of the mountain, but the summit is almost reached. And something is missing. And that something is probably, you guessed it, the owl person. For this eagle person, heaven is so close, yet it is incomplete without the final piece, which is their true love. The symmetry I see in this reading is almost poetic. Once again, both of you are represented by birds. Both of your energies are showing through as calming blue hues. And it's not the blue of sadness, but instead it's the blue of contemplation, of clarity, and quiet transformation. It's a stillness before the song, and what's so striking is the transformation happening for both of you. You begin this journey both as large, powerful birds of prey. One is the horned owl and the other is the harpy eagle. But in this moment of almost meeting, you both softened. The owl becomes the humble, hard-working weaver bird, and the eagle evolves into a shimmering little hummingbird. You are both letting go of defenses and you're opening, even if unknowingly you're both opening to connection. And when the moment comes, you will recognize each other, not just with your eyes, but with your soul. Moving on to these next cards, let us find out how your first or next meeting with your person will happen. For the owl person's tarot card, we have the Tower. Ooh, that's interesting. The Tower has the image of this angry and kind of scary looking fish. And for the owl's oracle card, we have Guardian of the Soul Family. As for the eagle person, your tarot card is the Wheel of Fortune. Oh wow, you both have major arcana again. I'm not surprised. The image on this card is a scarab beetle. And for your oracle card, there is, oh, you have the card Soft. I really love these oracle cards and how they're named. Some of them are beautiful phrases like Guardian of the Soul Family or Rings of Time, and then some of them are just soft. It does look like there's no gentle way to put it though. The Tower is disruption. This is the lightning strike at midnight. It is a crumbling of the old, a sudden jolt that can really leave you breathless. In this card's image, we see a fierce fish, and its bright orange and black stripes are like a warning, almost like a sign flashing, brace yourself. The way the owl meets the eagle is not going to be quiet. It's not slow. It's not something the owl person plans. This could be a major life event, an ending, a move, a breakup, a job loss, or for some of you, even an emotional breakdown. But for many of you, it could also be some kind of a beautiful upheaval, like winning something suddenly, getting an opportunity out of nowhere, or receiving a positive piece of life-altering news. But regardless of its nature, this is going to be something dramatic. The kind of moment where the ground shifts under your feet and the only thing left to do is to fall into it. And fall the owl person does, right into the arms of the eagle person. The fish in the image is swimming directly toward the eagle's card, reinforcing that the owl person is being pushed or propelled forward and toward their eagle person. They may not even realize it at first, but this wild moment is the universe's way of aligning the connection. The oracle card, Guardian of the Soul Family, offers the reassurance that the owl person might need in this moment. Yes, this moment might be scary, and yes, it might shake everything up, but you are not alone. This card speaks of spiritual protection and love that surrounds you like a warm hug. Interestingly, if you look closely at the image here, it's not just one guardian, it's a group of intertwined souls. Their arms are wrapped around each other. For some of you, this may literally mean family or friends helping to orchestrate your meeting. And for others, this could be your soul tribe, or those on the other side or in spirit. And your soul tribe is pulling the strings with love and precision to bring you and your eagle person together. If you've already met your person, this could be talking about a crisis point in the owl's life, during which the owl was vulnerable or has been broken open, and the eagle appears seemingly out of nowhere. Or maybe the owl may have stumbled into the eagle's world without realizing that this is it. And for those of you who have not yet met your person, then you should be bracing for a plot twist. Something may be coming crashing down. But remember, towers fall so that something more solid and more stable can be built in their place. And don't forget that even if the owl may fall, waiting to catch the owl is their eagle. If the owl person is being thrown into this meeting, then the eagle person is flowing into it. The Wheel of Fortune is fate in motion. It is the universe rearranging things behind the scenes in beautiful, unpredictable ways. It's like waking up one day and everything somehow feels aligned. The pieces of the puzzles are clicking effortlessly into place. The image on the card shows a gorgeous scarab beetle with its wings spread wide. It is vibrant and full of color. The eagle person at the time of this meeting is truly living. They may be feeling good, perhaps being successful, social, confident, and very open-hearted. They've been through the shadows, and now they are gliding through a season of growth, light, and magic. And it's in this exact moment, when they're thriving, that they look up and there is the owl person falling from their tower. And seeing this, the eagle doesn't flinch, the eagle doesn't run, the eagle opens their arms. The oracle card Soft says it all. The eagle person is the owl's soft place to land. The eagle is warm, kind, and the eagle is in the right place at the right time in the moment the owl arrives. And You know what's even more stunning here? The color palette of this card matches Guardian of the Soul family, which shows us that the eagle and owl are not meeting by chance. They are part of each other's soul circle. There is spiritual resonance here and a deep sense of recognition and home. So like I said, for many of you, this is definitely a beautiful soulmate connection or even a past life romance. It really looks like the energy of this meeting between the owl and the eagle is going to be nothing short of monumental. With both of you receiving major arcana cards, the Tower for the owl and the Wheel of Fortune for the eagle, we are witnessing a moment of deep spiritual significance, and it's the kind that leaves both people forever changed. This is not going to be a gentle unfolding or a quiet introduction. No, it's going to be a collision of fate, orchestrated by forces beyond your understanding, and it's going to arrive like a divine interruption. For the owl person, this moment comes at that time of upheaval. The Tower's energy is chaotic and forceful and is shaking the foundations of what once felt safe and known. Meanwhile, the eagle person experiences this meeting from a very different angle. The Wheel of Fortune turns their behavior, signaling a time of expansion and alignment and unexpected blessings. This juxtaposition of the owl being thrust out of something and the eagle rising into something, this reveals the profound synchronicity of their two paths. One of them is crumbling, the other is ascending, and yet the meeting point is the same. It's the shared space where chaos and destiny merge into one amazing and divine encounter. What the owl person loses, the eagle holds and lets the owl find again. And what the eagle gains, the owl further ignites. There's going to be a perfect and poetic symmetry here that only the universe could have arranged. This moment of meeting isn't just pivotal, it is transformative. For many of you, this marks the end of one chapter and the sacred beginning of another. And another chapter that neither the owl nor the eagle could have planned for themselves. It's gonna feel like a love story being rewritten, like a storm clearing to reveal the stars, and like finally finding the place where you both belong. So finally, we can get to the point of when you and your person meet, and everything so far has been leading up to an incredible climax. So let's finally take a look at these cards, and they're going to tell us about what actually goes on during your first or next meeting with your person. We'll get an idea of the thoughts and feelings of each person when you meet, and your impressions of each other. So, for the owl person, we have the tarot card, the 10 of Pentacles, with an image of this giant, beautiful whale. And for your oracle card, you have Acceptance. Wow, this is really sweet. Look at the image on this card. I am really excited. Something amazing will be happening for many of you for this meeting. And for our eagle person, we have the tarot card, the Knight of Pentacles, with an image of this cute little fuzzy bumblebee. And as for your oracle card, you got Knowing Without Knowing. Oh my gosh, this is turning out to be just a magical reading. Immediately, I can't help but notice that the image on this Knowing Without Knowing card is like an abstract rendition of the same image on the owl's acceptance card. Look, 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 look. Look, one person on the left is knelt down and holding the hand of the other person on the right, who has the long, beautiful hair getting blown in the wind. And it's really funny that this card is called Knowing Without Knowing because, oh my gosh, I'm getting too excited here. Okay, let's go in order so I don't jump all over the place. So, at last, we arrive at the moment everything has been leading to. This is the first or next meeting between the owl and the eagle. And there is something so powerful and magical about this moment. After all the storms, the slow building, the divine timing, the upheaval, now comes a moment of stillness wrapped in so much meaning. This isn't loud or dramatic like the Tower energy, and it definitely isn't full of glitter and fire like the Wheel of Fortune either. It's more like the hush that settles after the rain, a sacred moment of pause during which two people look at each other and they just know. For the Owl person, the tarot reveals the Ten of Pentacles. This is a card of deep-rooted stability, enduring love, and overflowing abundance. It speaks of something whole, something true, something that feels like home. It's an extraordinary shift, especially when we consider where the Owl person just came from. And that was the crumbling chaos of the Tower. And yet here they stand, almost as if that collapse was necessary just to make room for this. There's no resistance in this moment. There's only ease. The presence of the Eagle person brings the Owl a sense of peace that is so profound, it almost catches the Owl off guard. The Owl feels safe, they feel known, and they feel very accepted. And this concept is beautifully echoed in the Acceptance Oracle card. The image shows one figure kneeling and offering their hand to the other. And it really stirs my imagination. Could this be a proposal? Perhaps not in the traditional sense for everyone, because I'm sure most people are not getting proposed to on your first meeting. But hey, who knows? And most likely most of you are not getting proposed to on your next meeting either. But certainly something monumental is going to be exchanged here. For some of you, this meeting might involve a conversation that seals the bond, an offer to begin something serious between you two, or to define your connection, or to confess long-held feelings. For others of you, it's an important moment that plants a seed of knowing and recognizing each other. Even if this is your first meeting, you might immediately get the feeling that this person could be the person you marry. This is the kind of meeting that makes you feel like you are home. Each Journey of Love card has a poem, and for the Acceptance card, let us take a look at your poem. It says, "Shall we find some sunshine amongst the cloudy days? A gentle touch that softly warms and leads us on our way, past stately oaks and candles glow and places we've never been, a friend to share the memories before it's home again." These words are bathed in such warmth. That gentle touch that softly warms feels like the echo of the Eagle's soft card from earlier on in the reading. And this affirms that during this meeting, the Owl person can feel that the Eagle person's arms are the sanctuary that they fall right into. This card has many colors of autumn, and paired with the number 55, this suggests that change is in the air, change that is beautiful. 55 reduces to 10, and 10 is the number of completion, and this perfectly echoes the 10 of Pentacles promise as well. For our Eagle person, their experience is both grounding and at the same time overwhelming. They receive the Knight of Pentacles, and this is a card of loyalty and devotion and heartfelt effort. It's such an endearing contrast to their previous, more commanding energies like the Chariot and the Queen of Swords. Here the Eagle softens and humbles and steadies themselves. They feel a new kind of even maybe nervousness, not from fear, but from earnestness. Like the Owl person is the only one who makes the Eagle feel a little bit timid, and suddenly the Eagle, who is used to being well-spoken and commanding and powerful, suddenly the Eagle is stumbling a little over their words and blushing. It's likely because the Eagle wants to show up right for the Owl. Like the bumblebee on this card, the Eagle is buzzing with a busy, diligent kind of love energy, ready to work, ready to build, ready to nurture this connection with patient devotion. And then comes the moment that nearly takes their breath away. The Eagle's Oracle card, Knowing Without Knowing. Its message is really, really very profound. It speaks of soul-level intuition, a deep certainty that doesn't come from logic, but from the depths of the heart. Let me read you the beautiful poem for this card. It goes a little something like this. I have been here before. Aromas open the doors. I walk through knowing. The eagle clearly feels that this is no ordinary meeting. This is the kind of moment where time folds in on itself. Perhaps the eagle feels they have known the owl in 1,000 lifetimes before. Perhaps this meeting stirs past life memories or inexplicable familiarity. And what makes this card all the more amazing, which got me so excited earlier, is that the image is the same, but an abstract version of the owl's acceptance card. The same figures appear again, now reimagined. Look at the kneeling person and the standing person. Look at the shapes on the Knowing Without Knowing card. If these two cards did not come out together, you wouldn't notice at all. But now that they are side by side, the resemblance is undeniable. This resemblance is saying that what the owl is feeling, the eagle is feeling too. There's no delay, there's no disconnect, just two souls arriving at the same moment with the same certainty. And both people are thinking the same thing. They're thinking, it's you. The emotional resonance of this meeting is unmistakable. I feel it very strongly, and whether this is your very first encounter with your person or this is your next meeting, something is going to happen, and there's a spiritual fullness to this moment that can't be ignored. The owl, having just survived the collapse of something huge, is now standing on solid ground again. But it's not just any ground, it's the fertile earth of new beginnings. And the eagle, previously soaring and self-assured, now lands on the same fertile earth with humility and heart in hand, ready to build something real. Together, these energies mirror and complement each other in the most intimate kind of way. They don't just feel a connection, they recognize it. And these two both know that they are exactly where they're meant to be, with exactly who they're meant to be with. And somehow, they've known it all along. Whether this is your first meeting or your next meeting with your person, one thing is for certain. This meeting is sacred. It is a meeting stitched together by threads of destiny and devotion and deep soul-level remembrance. It is, quite simply, just that kind of meeting that changes everything. Moving on to the final section of your reading, I would like to see what things may hinder this magical first or next meeting with your person, and what will help speed up this amazing meeting. Let us get to things that might hinder you out of the way first. We have one Soul's Journey card and one Moonology Manifestation card. For your first card, you got two Soul's Journeys cards actually. The first one, we have Guilt, and its message is, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. And your second card is Balance, with a message, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. For your Moonology card, we have Last Quarter Moon in Pisces, with a message, talk less, feel more. It looks like the cards come forward with a loving nudge to release what no longer serves you so that you can step into what's waiting for you. The first two cards are Guilt and Balance. This pairing is very interesting. Perhaps there is someone who may be carrying the weight of self-blame and a sense of emotional overload. The card Guilt comes with a message, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. This tells us that either you or your person, maybe even both of you, to some degree, someone is wrestling with a past that hasn't fully healed. For those who have already met their person, this guilt could be very specific. One of you may have hurt the other, intentionally or not, and now you're haunted by the fear that forgiveness might not be possible. Even if you've both moved on externally, there may be inner echoes of regret that still shape how open you are able to be with each other. The Balance card says, I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. This might seem peaceful at first glance, but when paired with guilt, it reveals something deeper, the illusion of perfection. Someone in this connection, the owl or the eagle, might be trying too hard to keep all the plates spinning, to juggle work, family, personal healing, goals, expectations, and love. In trying to do everything perfectly, love itself becomes another task on the list. And this pressure to have it all together can make vulnerability feel like weakness, and relationships which are inherently imperfect, they may seem like a risk rather than a comfort. For the owl person, this might look like emotional withdrawal. If they've been through a tower moment or a recent upheaval, they may be putting immense pressure on themselves to heal quickly or to be whole before they're allowed to love. They might feel like they're not ready yet. Or worse, they might feel like they're going to ruin something good if they step into it too soon. This guilt can be overwhelming. I'm too broken. I missed my chance. They deserve someone better. These beliefs don't reflect the truth, though. They reflect pain. And for the ego person, this could manifest more through the Balance card's lens. The ego may be trying to control timing, circumstances, or outcomes, believing that they can just get all the puzzle pieces to fit, and then, only then can they fully show up in love. They may be working tirelessly to become worthy, but in the process, they lose touch with their heart's natural rhythm and flow. Love doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. It arrives when you're ready to feel, not when you're trying to fix. This idea of surrendering to the emotional current is reinforced by your Moonology card, which is the last quarter moon in Pisces, with the message, talk less, feel more. This card is like a soft, watery whisper, a reminder that overthinking, overanalyzing, or talking circles around emotions can be a subtle form of avoidance. For both the owl and the eagle, this card invites you to drop into your emotions and to learn to trust what you feel. The timing of this card could point to around mid-March, because I'm loosely interpreting it to be around the end of Pisces season. For many of you, this may be a significant time period, perhaps when these blocks become more noticeable. Maybe it's a time of silence between you and your person, or perhaps it's a moment when you find yourselves retreating inward and a little bit unsure of how to move forward. The energy here isn't stagnant, though. It is more contemplative. It's asking you to get still enough to listen to your heart's language and not just to your mind's noise, if that makes any sense. So what does this mean in terms of hindrance? For some of you, it's the guilt of the past. For others, it could be perfectionism in the present. For many, it's the silence that grows when words feel too heavy and emotions feel too raw. The medicine here isn't to do more, or to say more, or to think more. It is to feel more. It's to let go of needing every part of your life to be in perfect harmony before love can enter. It's to release the idea that you must be fully healed in order to be loved. And it is to trust that your person, Whether you've met them already or you're still waiting to meet them, you have to trust that your person doesn't need your perfection. They just need your presence. These hindrances are not roadblocks. They are invitations. They're invitations to release guilt, to let go of perfection, and to return to the truth of your heart. Because once you do, the meeting you long for becomes not just possible, but it will be inevitable. I always want to finish on a positive note, so let us now find out what things will help speed up your first or next meeting with your person. First, starting with the Soul's Journey card, we have Change with a message, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. And for your Moonology card, we have Full Moon in Virgo with a message, take inspired action. All right, after sitting with all these amazing and wonderful and crazy emotions so far, these last cards bring the focus back into your hands. Yes, of course, fate plays a role in bringing people together, but very often it's our willingness to take action that truly opens the door. So let's take a look at what you can do, or what might be shifting soon, and these things will help speed up your meeting with your person. Beginning with our Soul's Journey card, which is Change. It has the message, I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. What a powerful statement here. Right away, this card is calling you toward transformation. Not for transformation's sake, but because deep down, you've already been feeling the rumblings of change. Maybe there is a habit you've outgrown. Maybe it's a mindset that no longer fits. Maybe you are already halfway through some kind of life transition, like moving to a new city, or changing jobs, cutting ties with draining relationships, or making a health shift. Whatever this is, change is your green light. The momentum you create by making space in your life, emotionally, mentally, or even physically, this will be the exact thing that helps you meet your person sooner. And for those of you who will be having their first meeting with their person, this change could very well be the catalyst. It's that moment when you say yes to something new, a different path, a bold step, a leap of faith. This might be as simple as changing your routine, and suddenly you're meeting your person because you went to that art class, accepted that invite, or you finally downloaded that dating app. For others, it could be a little bit deeper, like finally releasing an old emotional tie, a toxic ex, or a limiting belief that love isn't for you. This card says your meeting is waiting on the other side of movement. For those who already know their person, this card points to a shift that brings you two closer. Maybe there's been a distance, emotional, physical, or circumstantial, and this change helps bridge that gap. Perhaps one of you changes your living situation, or speaks your truth, or finally lets down your walls. Maybe you stop waiting for that perfect moment, and instead you realize this moment right now is sacred enough to choose each other. In some cases, it could even be your person is going through a transformation and finally becoming ready to meet you where you've been waiting. Next, for our Moonology manifestation card, we have Full Moon in Virgo with the message, take inspired action. Now that we've spoken about change, this card answers the question, what should you do with that change? Virgo is a grounded and thoughtful and detail-oriented energy. It doesn't rush in blindly. It plans, it organizes, and it commits. So the action here isn't chaotic or impulsive. It is intentional. It's that feeling when your heart tells you this matters and your body follows through with action. This card also points to a time frame that could be important for many of you, which would be the beginning of September, around the middle of Virgo season. For some, this may be when the pieces begin to align, when your change is complete, when walls come down, or when the two of you find yourselves at the same place at the same time, with open hearts and clear minds. Full moons are about illumination and fruition, so Virgo season could be when something you've been building toward emotionally finally blooms into something real and tangible. For the owl person who went through that tower moment, this could be a call to re-engage with life in small but significant ways. And after emotional upheaval, it is tempting to retreat, but the change card urges you to take that first step back into the world. Maybe it's reaching out to a friend, applying for something new, or simply showing up where you feel drawn. Virgo's influence reminds us to stay grounded, to reconnect with our bodies and with our daily rituals. Have that healing cup of tea, that walk in the morning, that journal you've been meaning to write in. All of it counts. Your inspired action might be quiet, but it sets massive wheels in motion. For the eagle person, this is about harnessing their chariot energy in a more refined kind of way. Earlier in the reading, we saw the eagle shifting from confident and outwardly powerful to learning to be soft and more emotionally aware. Now it's time to merge the two. The full moon in Virgo encourages the eagle to step forward with purpose, especially if they've been hesitating out of fear or perfectionism. If the eagle person has been silently waiting for the perfect moment to reach out or express how they feel, Virgo gently reminds them that it's action and not perfection that will be the thing to make this real. Whether that would be sending a message, asking to meet up, or simply showing up authentically, it's time. What's especially beautiful is how both cards are essentially saying the same thing. And this is the fact that movement, action, these things matter. Even if it's just one small but brave step, that one step might be the turning point. If guilt and overthinking have been the fog, this message is the lighthouse. If silence has been the space between you, then this is the moment to break it with something real. And so, this final section closes your reading off with a breath of fresh air and hope. You're not waiting for fate to rescue you. You're walking hand in hand with it. Whether you've already met your person or you're still dreaming of that moment, your actions, your choices, your willingness to say yes to what stirs your soul, that's what opens the door for you. Love, after all, isn't just something we fall into. It's something we rise up to meet. With that said, those are all the messages I have for you today. This reading was so beautiful and powerful. I hope you felt as moved as I did and enjoyed the process. As always, please feel free to claim all the messages you would like. And I'd also like to ask you to remember that this is a general reading. So please do not worry if not every single message was for you. Also, as usual, I do want to remind you that we all have the ability to shape our own paths. So please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in this reading, trust that you do have the power to change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the Osmanthus tea. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to your reading all about your first or next meeting with your person. This person you have in mind could be your future spouse, your soulmate, your next significant relationship, or whoever else you are thinking about at this moment. If this person is someone you already know, this reading will be about your next significant meeting with them. And if this is someone you've not met yet, the reading will be about your first meeting with them. So to start things off, let's get some hints from this beautiful Osmanthus tea you have chosen about your connection with your person and your first or next meeting with them. One thing about Osmanthus tea is that it has a very beautiful and unique fragrance. I can smell it right now, and it speaks to me of warmth and nostalgia and joy as well. It is a tea that's associated with sense of sweetness and renewal and the beauty of small fleeting moments that leave a lasting impression. If you are drawn to this Osmanthus tea, your love story is one that will unfold in a way that feels natural and effortless, and perhaps even a little bit unexpected. This won't be a love that rushes in all at once. Instead, it's going to develop like the scent of Osmanthus blossoms drifting through the air. At first, it'll be a little bit subtle, but it is everlasting and definitely impossible to forget. There's something really beautiful about the way you and your person will come together. For some of you, it may not be an earth-shattering and dramatic entrance into each other's lives, but instead it could be more like a series of moments that, when finally pieced together, they're going to tell a story of two people who are meant to find each other. Perhaps you would meet in an environment that feels familiar and comfortable, like a bookstore, where maybe your hands reach out for the same novel and they touch. Or maybe a cafe where your usual order gets mixed up with theirs. Or even a quiet park where you both pause to admire the same golden sunset or the same beautiful sunrise. These small details may seem insignificant at first, but with time they'll definitely prove to be the very foundation of your connection. For me personally, Osmanthus tea is often associated with memories because scents usually form strong bonds with memories, and this scent of this Osmanthus tea is very incredibly unforgettable. So this makes me think that your meeting might feel like a moment from a dream or a memory that you can't quite place. It could be an encounter by chance that sparks an instant feeling of familiarity, as if you've met before, perhaps even in another lifetime. Or it could be that your love story is one of reunion. Perhaps you knew each other as kids, or you were introduced long ago but you lost touch, or even you crossed paths briefly without realizing how significant that moment would one day become. But whatever the case may be, when your connection finally takes form, it will feel as though the universe has been gently guiding you back to each other all along. Timing will definitely play an important role in your meeting, but it won't be something either of you can plan for or control. Osmanthus blooms in the autumn, which is a season of transformation, and this suggests that it's likely your love will arrive at a time when you have let go of something old to make space for something new. The love this tea represents is definitely gentle but deeply lasting. It's the kind of connection where you can sit in comfortable silence together, and laughter comes easily, and even the simplest moments like eating a meal, walking in the rain, or exchanging knowing glances from across the room to each other, all of these little things will carry something very unspoken and deep that you share between you two. It's going to be a love that grows steadily, like a tree putting down roots, and it's going to become stronger with each passing day that you're together. I think for many of you, this kind of love may not come with overwhelming fireworks or dramatic grand gestures, but it will be a love that never wavers, never needs to be questioned, and it'll always feel so steadfast. Like Osmanthus tea, your love story will be filled with sweetness and warmth and quiet beauty. It will remind you that love does not always have to be loud to be powerful, and sometimes the most meaningful connections are the ones that kind of sneak up on you softly. And when you finally do meet, for either the first time or the next time, you're going to know. Because not by a sudden rush of intensity, but because everything will simply just click into place as if it was always meant to be. I get a feeling of a certain kind of similar wisdom shared between the Osmanthus tea and the Chrysanthemum tea. So if you felt drawn to both, it's definitely worth exploring their connection. So feel free to watch the Chrysanthemum reading as well. Both teas symbolize a love that unfolds more naturally, without force, without urgency, yet each tea carries its own unique essence as well. Chrysanthemum tea speaks more of resilience and patience and a meeting that comes at precisely the right time, while Osmanthus tea embodies more sweetness and nostalgia and the quiet beauty of everyday and little moments. In both cases, love does not arrive with an explosive or grand or with sweeping drama, but rather love will arrive in a way that feels destined, kind of like turning of the seasons or the blooming of a flower that has been waiting for the perfect moment. This is really making me excited to see what messages we'll get from your cards. So moving right on, we have the beautiful Oriens Animal Tarot deck today, and we'll do this reading in a person 1 and person 2 style. Feel free to identify for yourself which one of you is person 1 and who is person 2. If you're resonating with both sides, it's likely that you and your person could be strongly mirroring each other. Starting with an energy check to help you make sure this is your reading, we'll see how each person is like. I have 2 tarot cards to represent the overall energy for you and your person. For person 1, we have the card, the Ace of Wands, with an image of a dragonfly with these magical glowing wings. And the card for person 2 is the Page of Wands. Look at how cute this little red panda is. This is actually one of my favorite cards in this deck. And one thing I have to mention is that in this deck, most cards have dark colored backgrounds. This is a card with a light colored, in fact, it's yellow background. And the only other card in this deck with a yellow background is actually the sun. So this red panda person is definitely someone who shares that similar warm and sunshiny personality. Starting with our person 1, who we'll call the dragonfly person. They have quite a powerful and focused energy, like a torch that's just been lit. The Ace of Wands is the spark before the flame, the inspiration before the masterpiece, and the impulse before the leap. This dragonfly may be someone who has a restless desire to move forward, to do and to create and to connect. Fire sign energy, like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, may be very prominent here, either in their sun, moon, or rising placements, or in their personality. So that would be someone who is passionate and driven and bold, and someone who is definitely emotionally very honest. The dragonfly is especially meaningful here. While we often see dragonflies darting through the air, their story actually begins underwater. They live most of their lives as nymphs, and they're hidden beneath the water surface. They're growing slowly, evolving without being seen. And they only grow wings and take flight in the final stage of their lives, when they're finally ready. So for this person, it may be like that life has been quietly preparing them for this moment. Maybe they'll be someone who experiences a very long period of healing, of waiting, or simply building their inner strength that they need to move forward with love and with intention. The dragonfly is also facing toward the red panda card. and this suggests a conscious interest in the dragonfly, even if it's an interest that hasn't been voiced. This is someone who sees potential and they're ready to pursue it. There is a magnetic draw here, not in an overwhelming or intense way, but more like being drawn toward warmth or towards sunshine and light. And now here comes the sunshine, and this is the Page of Wands, which we said earlier has the same colored yellow background as the Sun card. The Page of Wands is represented here by our adorable little red panda, and this panda is brimming with curiosity and charm and a childlike sense of wonder. So this person is adventurous, but definitely not reckless. They're curious, but not intrusive. It's like they have a certain sweetness to them, the kind that draws people in without them even trying, just like the sweetness of our Osmanthus tea. The bright yellow background, which I mentioned is very rare in this deck, links us directly to the Sun card, which is all about joy and truth and radiant confidence. The red panda person may have a personality that simply glows. Even if they don't speak much, people tend to light up around them. People are easily drawn toward them, and this person has definitely a certain kind of warmth and positive energy that charges and recharges others around them. And yet here's where it gets really interesting. The red panda's body appears to be facing away from the dragonfly, but then the red panda is actually looking back, and this red panda is also upside down. And funnily enough, this ends up so that the red panda's face is toward the general direction of the dragonfly. So this tells me, for some of you, the red panda person may be someone who seems a little bit aloof or distracted, but secretly they have a strong curiosity or attraction toward the dragonfly. They may play it a little bit cool or even be a little bit shy, but beneath the surface, they are definitely intrigued. They are watching, they're noticing, and maybe they're even waiting for a signal from the dragonfly. Their energy is a little bit harder to read because they're all turned and upside down. But this is not because they're indifferent. Instead, they're trying to figure out how to navigate their feelings in their own quirky, fun, and flirty kind of way. For a lot of you, I would say that this person also has a big appetite, not necessarily for food, but for life. They crave experiences and knowledge, intimacy and connection. They want to taste everything love has to offer, and their eyes are wide open. When people come across this red panda person for the first time, they'll easily recognize the red panda as someone who radiates happiness and someone who draws attention without even trying. You can find the red panda often in a warm or vibrant kind of setting, maybe a community event, a workshop, a creative or outdoorsy kind of space. They'll stand out for their spark, but they may not approach you directly at first. Still, don't mistake their playfulness or unpredictability for a lack of interest, because underneath they're definitely feeling all the connection and all the attraction as well. If this red panda is your person and you've already met them before, it's likely someone who's already looking your way. Maybe they're glancing back when they think you're not watching. There's definitely excitement here, even if it's a little bit subtle. They may be waiting to see if the feelings are mutual before they act, or they may already be engaging with you in their own unique way, through playful texts, or inside jokes, or spontaneous invitations, or bursts of heartfelt enthusiasm. What is really special is that both cards here are from the suit of Wands, and both are the beginnings of their perspectives in the suit. So the Ace is the first card in the entire suit, and the Page is the first card in the chord card progression. This means your connection is on both ends, fresh and inspired and filled with possibility. You're both at the starting line of something that could grow into something beautiful. The branches beneath both creatures on this card are shaped very similarly, so it's almost like they were cut from the same tree. So this may mean that you and your person are already existing in similar environments, maybe the same workplace or school or social circle, or even a similar online space. There's a sense that your worlds are already overlapping, or they're going to overlap really soon. And that moment of overlap is coming when your energies truly align. Even if one of you seems a little bit more ready and the other seems a little bit hesitant or ambiguous, there's still a harmony here because both of you are equally ready in energy and in intention. It's kind of like a dance. One person leans in, the other twirls away with a smile, only to glance back again with interest. There's a lot of chemistry, definitely a lot, because wands represents passion and fire, but also curiosity and playfulness and a certain kind of youthfulness and fun. Whether you think you've already met your person or not, this energy check shows that something new and beautiful is awakening between you two. It's a connection where two flames, each with their own bright and beautiful warm light and strength, finally find each other at just the right moment. For this next part of your reading, we'll look at each person's specific energies at the moment when you two are just about to have your first or next meeting. I have one tarot and one oracle card for each person. Starting with the dragonfly, for your tarot card we have the High Priestess. Wow, this is amazing energy, and look at this beautiful striking image of a wolf. And for your oracle card, there is Her Grace. For the Red Panda person, our tarot card is the Page of Pentacles, which has an image of a cricket sitting on some flowers. And for your oracle, we have Cosmic Butterfly. This here is a powerful checkpoint in your journey. It offers us a glimpse into the emotional, spiritual, and life state energies for both you and your person when you are on the verge of your next or first meeting. Let's begin with our dragonfly person. This person is standing in one of the most elevated inner states of being. They are intuitive, balanced, powerful, and very calm. The High Priestess, especially paired with the image of a wolf, signals someone who has gone through or is currently undergoing a very deep inner awakening. There's a maturity here, not necessarily based on age, but more on soul-level wisdom. They're no longer distracted by superficial things. They've learned to distinguish between noise and truth. The wolf, as an animal guide, brings with it fierce instinct and focused direction, because wolves don't chase just anything. They assess, they plan, and they really know. And this dragonfly person knows exactly what they're looking for. Whether they've already seen you in their life or they're still waiting for the moment of recognition, their spirit has already aligned itself with the truth of this connection. Pairing all of that with the oracle card, Her Grace, we're given yet another beautiful layer, which is the divine feminine energy in full bloom. This is not about gender, it's about energy. The dragonfly is opening themselves to receive. There is softness here, there's openness and a deep trust in love and the universe. The dragonfly is not trying to force anything. Instead, they're letting love flow toward them. They're welcoming it with the same warmth they're now cultivating inside themselves. This is the kind of energy that magnetizes connection effortlessly, and they are likely very aware of the fact that their person is drawing closer to them. For those who haven't met their person yet, this dragonfly is receiving signs and intuitive nudges or synchronicities, whether through dreams or songs, maybe repeating numbers, or sudden insights that just come to them. They may be learning to trust these cues more and more, and they're finding themselves feeling a sense of knowing about love, even if they don't yet know who it's for. They are manifesting love not from desperation, but from grace. If you've already met your person, the dragonfly at this point in your journey already senses the significance of the red panda. They may not say it, but they definitely feel it. Their actions are becoming more intentional and more heartfelt. Perhaps they've stepped back recently, not necessarily to retreat, but instead it is to listen to their soul. They're preparing emotionally and spiritually for a deeper stage of connection. Where the dragonfly moves through intuition, on the other side, the red panda person is in a phase of real-world transformation. The Page of Pentacles suggests a new beginning in the physical realm. This could be starting a new job or school, maybe they're moving cities or committing to a long-term goal that's finally gaining some traction in their lives. This is a beautiful energy. It is grounded and curious, but also hardworking. For a few of you who picked this reading, I want to mention that it's possible at this stage the red panda may seem a little bit distracted by practical matters, or at least they might seem so on the outside. The cricket on this card is a really lovely symbol. It is small and often unseen, but it's impossible to ignore when it sings. This person might seem quiet about their feelings at this point, or they're a little bit slow to act in romance. But their impact is stronger than they realize. The cricket also brings luck and fortune in many cultures, and paired with this card, it shows that something this person has long wished for is finally starting to form, especially in the realm of abundance. Then we have the Cosmic Butterfly. This is a card of transformation and spiritual awakening. This is where the red panda story deepens. Although they may appear grounded and practical, internally something much more profound is happening. When a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, it actually dissolves its body in the cocoon and rebuilds into a butterfly. This makes me think that for this red panda, it is possible that parts of their old or previous self may be breaking down, but for the better. They may be leaving behind old relationships or belief systems or fears. It may be painful or disorienting at first, but the result will be powerful. They're becoming someone who is capable of great love. And to me, the most striking thing is that the red panda person is evolving to become more like the dragonfly, not in a copycat kind of way, but in a soul-to-soul resonance way. For those who have already met their person, it's possible that the red panda had always admired how intuitive or open-hearted the dragonfly person is, and now they're starting to embody those same traits. Also, you can notice that both the red panda's cards, the cricket and butterfly, are insects, and the dragonfly is also an insect. This shows that the red panda is becoming definitely more similar to the dragonfly in these respects. For those who already met their person, the dragonfly might be acting a little bit differently, maybe more quiet or more reflective or more driven. They may not talk about it, but something in them is stirring. They're realizing the importance of this connection, and even if it takes some time, they're working toward becoming someone who can truly receive and reciprocate the love that they're being offered. You can see on the Cosmic Butterfly card that it's like there is a flame here that the butterfly is heading toward. And for this red panda, this flame is their dragonfly. There's a beautiful balance forming between these two. The dragonfly person is already aligned with the spiritual essence of the connection because they know that this love is close, and they are gracefully preparing to embrace it. The red panda, on the other hand, is transforming into someone who can meet the dragonfly at the same frequency. This is a dance of awareness and of awakening. The dragonfly may recognize the red panda sooner, or they may feel more confident about this connection. The red panda may take a little bit longer to process and to express, but their heart is leading them whether they realize it or not. And when your paths cross for the first time or cross again at your next meeting, you may find that one of you brings stillness and insight, while the other brings more grounded hope and a fresh curiosity. Together, that combination can create something truly transformational for both of you. With all this said, I am really eager to find out about how you and your person will be meeting for your first or next time. I have these next few cards to give us some clues on how this will happen. Starting with our dragonfly. For your tarot card, we have Temperance. And for the oracle card, there is Yin-Yang Lover. And on the red panda side, we have the tarot card, the Hanged One. And for your oracle card, there is the Light Field. Whether this is your very first meeting or the next meeting with your person, what we see here is something very significant. And it's very carefully being orchestrated by timing and inner growth and soul level readiness. For the dragonfly person, the cards Temperance and Yin-Yang Lover come together in a really beautiful harmony. Both of these cards speak about the theme of balance, but not just balance in the basic sense. It's about the sense that there's a balance that lives in the heart and soul. The Temperance card is a major arcana card, which means this upcoming meeting will be a very significant milestone. The dragonfly person has been working to find equilibrium within themselves. They are learning to trust divine timing, to understand that not everything can or should be forced. There is a maturity here, and there's a grace in surrendering control and allowing the unfolding to happen naturally. It's not necessarily about a long wait. Instead, it's just the act of becoming emotionally and spiritually willing to wait. This alone is enough for the universe to reward you for learning patience, and it will invite the right person in. The imagery of the crab on this card adds another layer of depth. The crab is a symbol tied to Cancer energy. It's known for its protective shell. But in order for the crab to grow, it has to shed that shell and be exposed, soft and vulnerable before it can form another, bigger, better, stronger shell. And in the same way, the dragonfly person must come out of their emotional or situational shell. This may mean leaving behind old habits, familiar surroundings, or people who no longer align with their truth and their path. Their willingness to be open and perhaps trying something new, speaking honestly with someone, or just showing up in a place where they normally wouldn't. This will all play a crucial role in how they come to meet their red panda. The oracle card Yin-Yang Lover feels like a love letter to this exact moment. It speaks of magnetic attraction and complementary energies colliding with perfect timing. This isn't just romance, it's resonance. The colors of the card, which are pinks and greens, make me think of watermelon tourmaline, which is a crystal known for its heart-healing properties. This hints that for some of you who picked this reading, the path to meeting may involve the release of old heartbreak or a final wave goodbye to someone or something that's been weighing heavily on the heart. When the dragonfly person truly opens to receiving not just affection, but also peace and joy and emotional balance, then finally the stage is set for this meeting. Meanwhile, for the red panda person, the road to meeting is a little bit more turbulent or even a little bit painful. Their tarot card is the Hanged One, which is another major arcana, which tells us that this is just as meaningful for them as it was for the dragonfly person, although the energy is very different. So the dragonfly moves with grace, but the red panda has been forced into a stillness. The image of this bird for this card, with wings spread wide, but caught in these red threads, this says it all. This is a person who wants to move forward, who really, really yearns for freedom and connection, but they also find themselves stuck. They're suspended in uncertainty or emotional trials. Those red strings remind me of the strings of fate. They're tangling and binding this bird, as though the bird is being asked to wait, not by choice, but by circumstance. And even so, there is purpose. The Hanged One is about surrender, true surrender, not giving up, but letting go. The red panda must loosen their grip on something, an expectation, maybe a toxic pattern, a fear, or even a past relationship that lingers. Only then can the light find them. And that light is represented beautifully in their oracle card, which is the light field. This card is a beacon, a promise that there is something beyond the fog. They may not know it consciously, but they are already being drawn to their dragonfly person. Every act of release and every moment they choose clarity over confusion will take them one step closer to their person. In fact, this draws a beautiful parallel back to our cosmic butterfly card for the red panda. In both images, there's a sense of movement towards something glowing, something radiant, almost like how a moth is drawn to a flame. The dragonfly person is that light. What is so moving here is that even though there is stagnation, the red panda is still transforming. The strings of fate may seem cruel at first, but maybe they're actually guiding threads instead of binding threads. And these threads are actually leading this person right where they need to go. When we step back and reflect on both sets of cards together, one theme emerges very clearly, and this is the theme of patience. But this is not the kind of patience that leaves you frustrated or helpless. This is more like a sacred kind of waiting, the kind that reshapes you. Our dragonfly person is learning to trust the timing of their life, and they're stepping out of old patterns, and they're softening enough to receive something real. The red panda person is learning to release resistance and to allow the messy in-between kind of time to work its magic. And they're able to finally see that they're not stuck, but they're being realigned. So, how will the meeting happen for you? It happens when both of you are ready. Not perfect, not fully healed, but open. For those of you who have not met your person yet, you might cross paths after one of you takes a leap into something unfamiliar, taking a trip, trying a new project, or maybe a spontaneous invitation. For others of you, especially those who already know your person, this might mark the return of someone who has grown in your absence, who then comes back softer and wiser, and finally they're able to meet you where you're supposed to meet. This will not be a story of chasing or striving. Instead, it'll be a story of alignment. You'll be two souls tuning yourselves like instruments, and you'll be each finding the exact right frequency to recognize and receive each other. And when that moment comes, you will feel it in your chest and in your gut. You're going to feel that amazing shift. Moving on forward to the next portion of our reading, we'll finally get to see what goes on during your first or next meeting with your person. This would include the thoughts and feelings of each person when you meet and your impressions of each other from the meeting. For our Dragonfly person, your tarot card is the Four of Pentacles with an image of an armadillo. And your Oracle card is the Bride Offers Herself. Interesting. And for the Red Panda person, we have the tarot card, the Two of Pentacles. And our Oracle card is Distant Shores. This is the moment the previous cards have been building toward. This is the collision of two souls who have been circling one another through time and growth, patience, and also spiritual preparation. For our Dragonfly person, we see the Four of Pentacles illustrated by a small armadillo curled protectively around a single pentacle. This is an image of deep emotional possession, not in a harmful way, but in the way that one might clutch a precious memento to their chest. When the dragonfly meets the red panda, they feel an immediate and visceral desire to protect the red panda. They want to hold them close and not ever let them go. Even if this is your first time meeting each other, there is going to be a sense that the dragonfly already knows this is someone I never want to lose. The armadillo with its armored body symbolizes both a vulnerability and a guardedness. It can roll itself into a perfect little ball to defend against threat, and this instinctive kind of defense could reveal a little bit about how the dragonfly person's initial reaction will be to this meeting. There will be a strong emotional wall here, perhaps a lifetime's worth of self-preservation. But what's striking to me is that the dragonfly begins to soften almost immediately, because the red panda will not feel like a threat. To the dragonfly, the red panda will feel like something to be wrapped around and something to be kept safe. It's worth noting that for many of you who picked this reading, the red panda seems to stir something ancient and even a little bit primal in the dragonfly, something that says mine in a way that's not possessive but sacred, and definitely also a little bit like the dragonfly wants to claim the red panda as theirs. Accompanying this is our oracle card, the Bride Offers Herself. Regardless of the dragonfly's gender or identity, this card reflects the feeling that they are willing to give themselves completely and to step forward with their heart open and to say, I choose you. For many of you who picked this reading, they may not say this out loud at first. But for a very few of you, it could very well be that they do in fact say it out loud. But for most, the dragonfly person may still be wrapped up in that armadillo shell. But internally, something huge is happening, something beautiful and irreversible. There is a poem that goes along with every Journey of Love card, and for this card, the poem reveals a lot about how the dragonfly is feeling during your meeting. Let's read it here. How careful we must be close. How fragile we must feel. How sad not to be when someone is real. To say approach with caution when we already know that inside there's a likeness and experience goes slow. These words really capture the cautious vulnerability that defines the dragonfly's emotional state during this meeting. There's a quiet ache to be close, And yet there's a little tremble of fear around the intensity of what's unfolding. When someone feels real to you, when it's not just infatuation or fantasy, but instead such a soul recognizing you kind of real, everything just slows down. Every look lingers, every word echoes. The dragonfly knows, perhaps too quickly, that this moment matters. It's not flirtation, it's a turning point for them. On the other side, the red panda enters this meeting carrying the energy of our Two of Pentacles. This card is about balance and adaptation. And here it seems that the red panda finds something they didn't know they were missing. Perhaps their life might have been a juggling act until now, with work, responsibilities, and emotional weight. But upon encountering the dragonfly, there is a sudden recalibration. Things just click. What felt overwhelming before suddenly begins to feel manageable. And more than that, for the majority of you who picked this pile, I think the red panda begins to feel a sense of freedom, which is both beautiful and maybe also a little bit terrifying for them. Perhaps they are usually someone who might not normally leap into emotion, but here with the dragonfly, this leap feels so natural. The image on this card features a mountain goat, which is a creature that is known for scaling impossible heights and navigating steep mountainside cliffs. And this is referring to the red panda's emotional landscape. It could be difficult and dangerous terrain because taking a chance in love is often like going out into the unknown. But the red panda did venture out bravely, and they've managed to survive. But now, for the first time, they might actually feel like climbing towards something, rather than just trying to not fall. This sentiment is deepened by their oracle card, which is Distant Shores. This card speaks of the courage to journey toward what calls your soul, even if the path is unknown. The red panda may have been hesitant for a long time. Maybe they were trapped in fear, they had uncertainty, or they were dealing with past wounds. But this meeting marks the moment when they begin to step forward. The dragonfly becomes their shore, that distant, almost mystical place that they've been longing for all this time. Let's also take a look at the poem for this Distant Shores card. It goes, I waited for dawn, not wanting to go, but knowing I soon would have to leave. I waited for the first light, listening, joining with you on each breath and each exhale. I watched as morning came and you gently stirred, knowing our love was not measured in time, not the minutes that quickly passed, or the hours as departure approached. How I wanted to linger, how I wanted to tell you that this moment would last forever, and whisper one more time, I love you. And then you held me and said it first, and goodbye no longer mattered. This poem describes such an intimate moment, about having to leave your love the next morning, but never wanting to go. Some of you may experience this literally. Your first or next meeting might span a night full of quiet revelations or hesitant confessions, or maybe you're doing other spicy and intimate things here. But the moment morning comes, it brings separation, but not loss. For others, this poem might mirror an emotional truth for you, that even if life pulls you temporarily apart, you've crossed a threshold, which means your connection can no longer be undone. So trust in that. Also, for just a few of you, I can interpret this as the red panda not yet able to stay. They might have responsibilities, barriers, or life circumstances that pull them away after your next or first meeting. But what's clear is that their heart wants to stay. And there's one really curious detail in these cards. If you take a look at the images, the animals on the tarot cards, the armadillo and the goat, are facing away from each other. However, the figures on the two oracle cards are actually facing toward each other. This creates an interesting emotional paradox. Perhaps during the meeting, neither of you could be entirely sure how the other feels. You may even misread each other's reserve as disinterest. But beneath the surface, your souls are calling out and mirroring each other, moving toward each other, and both of you are very interested in each other and in this connection. This is a meeting that changes everything. You may both walk away unsure of what the other felt, but you'll both carry the same ache in your chest, that same feeling of warmth, and the same longing for each other and to see each other again. The same strange sense that you found someone who fits where nobody else has before. And while you may part for a time or not say everything you wished you could say to each other, you'll both know that this connection is something that is meant to be. So now that we have learned so much about your amazing and magical first or next meeting with your person, for the last part of your reading, let us get some advice on what might hinder this meeting or what could speed up your meeting. Starting off with things that might hinder you, so we can get these out of the way, we were actually supposed to get just one Soul's Journey card and one Moonology manifestation card, but you actually got two Soul's Journeys cards that popped out together. For your first card, there is Regret with a message, I know that I cannot change the past. And your other card is Service with a message, I feel good when I can help others. And your Moonology card is Full Moon in Gemini with a message, embrace the flow of life. Since an extra card came out for you in this section, this suggests that for many of you who picked this reading, the path toward your meeting may have more than one detour or stumbling block. The universe is offering you a gentle heads up to be mindful of where your energy is going and what you're holding on to, as well as whether you're truly open to flow into this connection. The first Soul's Journeys card is Regret, and this card speaks to someone, either you, your person, or even both of you, but someone is being a little bit emotionally stuck in the past. There may be wounds that haven't healed, memories that haven't been forgiven, or decisions that still echo with pain. This energy could manifest in many ways. Maybe you're overthinking what went wrong in a past relationship, or you're being afraid to try again. For some of you, there is a guilt here, a wish that something could have been done differently. If you haven't met your person yet, this feeling may be the exact thing that's keeping you from meeting. One or both of you could be looking backward instead of forward. You're unable to recognize what's being offered in the present moment. If you've already met your person, then regret could still be playing a role. Perhaps something was said or left unsaid in your past interactions with your person. Perhaps the timing wasn't right, or one of you had walked away earlier. Either way, this card gently encourages a release. You can't rewrite the past, but you can choose to stop reliving it. Alongside this card is our other Soul Journeys card, and this card is Service with a message, I feel good when I can help others. This card tells me that those of you who picked this pile have such a generous heart, but it also offers a quiet warning. You may be someone who gives and gives, who takes care of everyone else, who is the reliable one, the helper, the shoulder for others to cry on. But on the shadow side of this is being depleted. Maybe you're giving too much of yourself to people who drain you, to people who don't deserve you. or you're contributing to causes that overextend you. All of these things can leave you running on empty. It's possible that your person is caught in a similar dynamic, especially if they are a caretaker type as well, or someone who others rely heavily on. This card asks you to check in with your boundaries. Are you giving too much to receive validation? Are you pouring into relationships that don't nourish you in return? If you've been putting everyone else's needs before your own, this may be why you're not yet aligned with your person. You simply haven't had the time, the energy, or the emotional space to welcome love in. For those who have already met their person, this energy could be interfering subtly for you. Perhaps one of you is too busy fixing everyone else's problems to really show up fully in this connection. Finally, for our Moonology card, which is the full moon in Gemini, it has the message to embrace the flow of life. This card has several layers of meaning. First, I will loosely interpret this timing as the middle of Gemini season, and this period could be a significant time for you. So pay attention. It may be when clarity begins to come for you, or when one or both of you are called to make an important decision regarding the blockages between you two. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Gemini is a sign all about communication and thought and mental agility. But sometimes it could get caught in its own maze. In this context, the Gemini energy here could be showing up as miscommunication or over-communication. If you and your person are already in contact, this might look like endless texts or conversations with no action taken, lots of talking, no meeting. You might feel like you're circling around the idea of being together without ever grounding it in reality. Alternatively, if you have yet to meet, this card could be highlighting crossed wires or misunderstandings that are preventing that moment from happening. And then there is the phrase, embrace the flow of life. This suggests that one or both of you may be struggling to surrender to the natural rhythm of things. Perhaps you or your person could be trying to control the outcome too tightly, or perhaps you are being swept along by a current that isn't aligned with your soul's journey. Work obligations, family pressure, or old emotional patterns. All of these things could be dragging you away from where you're supposed to be headed. This card asks us, are we resisting the flow, or are we floating down a river that we're not meant to flow down? For the dragonfly person, who we saw earlier was feeling protective and perhaps even a little bit fearful of loss, the regret card may point to past failures in love that still weigh heavily on their heart. Maybe they loved deeply before and they lost. Maybe they've blamed themselves for a relationship that didn't work out. This past pain could cause them to shut down or hesitate when this new connection appears, because they're worried, what if it happens again? Or what if they lose the red panda too? As well, with the service card, the dragonfly could be a quiet fixer type, someone who's always helping others carry their burdens, but someone who struggles to let others help them. This could leave the dragonfly emotionally overextended, with very little energy left to recognize when a soulmate is standing right in front of them. For our red panda person, the service card may be presenting in a different way. Perhaps the red panda feels responsible for their family or for their work. Maybe they are the one that everyone turns to, the one who never says no. The thought of leaving that behind, even if temporarily, so that they can have some time for love, this might stir feelings of guilt or fear. Similarly, regret could show up as an inner narrative that they've lived with for a long time. Regret that maybe they're thinking, I waited too long. I let my chance go, or I'm not ready. Combine that with the Gemini card. The red panda may be overthinking everything. They might be stuck in an endless spiral of what ifs and half-finished messages that they're too scared to send. For both of you, this is a gentle wake-up call. You are closer to each other than you think. But first, the past must be laid to rest. The urge to give and serve must be balanced with the need to receive and rest. And above all, the fear of what if must be released so that what is can be welcomed in. Finally, I would love to end on a positive note. So let us look at the factors that could help speed up your first or next meeting with your person. Our first card is Indecision, with the message, I use my intuition in all aspects of life. And for the Moonology card, there is New Moon in Pisces, with the message, attune to the divine. Immediately, I notice a strong theme between these two cards, and this is the theme of intuition. The kind of intuition that isn't loud or logical, but it is gentle and it has inner knowing. It is the kind that whispers and nudges and pulls you forward, even when your mind can't make sense of everything yet. So let's begin with the Indecision card. This card affirms that the single most important thing that can help speed up your meeting is simply choosing, trusting, taking action even when there are no guarantees. There is a crossroads here, a sense that either you or your person, or even both of you, are standing in front of two or more paths, and you could be feeling a little bit unsure about which direction to go. Perhaps this has been an energy of waiting and hesitating, or mentally circling back over the same ground again and again, trying to find certainty. But the message from this card is very clear. You won't know the outcome until you choose. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to commit to the path that feels right, even if your rational thinking mind is still second-guessing it. This doesn't mean rushing in or making reckless choices. It means listening to that deeper part of yourself, and that part that knows exactly what you want or where you're supposed to be. If your heart is softly nudging you towards someone, or telling you to open up your energy to love again, or pushing you to send that message, or to go on that trip, then do it, even if you don't know why. That choice could be the thread that begins to pull this entire story into motion. Next, for our New Moon in Pisces card, which reinforces this idea as well. New moons are moments of intention setting, of planting seeds for the future. And Pisces is the most spiritual and intuitive and dreamy sign of the zodiac. This card says, attune to the divine. So trust what your soul is telling you, and not what others think or what the external world wants to say. For many of you, this moment of divine alignment will be a choice that you make to follow your soul's guidance. It could be around the start of Pisces season, which would be late February. This could be a time when you receive a sign, feel a strong urge to act, or even when you get a chance encounter that leads you straight to your person. For the dragonfly, we saw that they are fiercely protective and deeply emotional, so the indecision card may show up as a fear of making the wrong move. This could be someone who is overthinking things, likely out of a desire to not mess it up. They care so much, and because they've been hurt before, they may be paralyzed and scared of the idea of choosing wrong again. But the universe is saying it's time to choose, whether that's choosing to let go of an old story, to open up your heart, to take a leap of faith, or to say yes even when it's terrifying. Forward movement is what you need. Indecision may feel safe, but it's actually stagnating, and it's actually halting what could be a beautiful future. As for our red panda, who has been learning to find balance and rediscover joy, the message of Pisces is especially important. The red panda is being called to listen more closely to their intuition, and not just a small anxious voice in their head. Instead, they should be listening to their divine higher self. For some red pandas out there, this may mean quieting the noise of outside opinions and slowing down long enough to feel what's right, and embrace your emotional side instead of over-rationalizing everything. And for both of you, if you've already met, this energy may signal a moment where one or both of you must stop waiting and start trusting. If you've been circling each other, unsure if it's the right time or if the connection is real, this is your sign. This is your cue. Trust what you feel and say the thing. Make the call. Choose your person, even if it scares you. If you haven't met your person yet, this is your green light to start trusting your instincts in how you move through the world. That inner pull to step outside of your comfort zone and explore something new. This could be exactly how your path opens up to your person. Together, these two cards remind us that the bridge between you and your person is made of choice and trust. It isn't about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about recognizing when the moment is close and having the courage to take the step and say yes to it. So the cards are telling us to attune to the divine. Choose what feels right in your soul, and the universe is already weaving the rest for you. And with that said, those are all the messages I have for you today. This reading was so beautiful and so powerful. I really hope you felt as moved as I did, and you enjoyed listening to all your messages. As always, please feel free to claim all the messages you would like. And I'd like to ask you to remember that this is a general reading, so no worries if not every single message was for you. Also, as usual, I do want to remind you that we all have the ability to shape our own paths. So please feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you do have the power to influence and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I will see you in the next one. This reading is for those of you who have chosen the Honeysuckle tea. Thank you for joining me, and welcome to your reading all about your first or next meeting with your person. Your person could refer to your future spouse, your soulmate, your next significant relationship, or whoever else you might be thinking about right now. If this person is someone you have already met, this reading will be about your next significant meeting with them. And if this is someone you do not know or haven't met yet, then this reading will be about your first meeting with them. To start things off, the honeysuckle tea that you have chosen can tell us a bit about the connection with your person, as well as your first or next meeting with them. There's something sweet and surprising about honeysuckle. It's got a scent that instantly takes you back to a fond memory, like childhood summers, or lazy afternoons, warmth and laughter, and something simple but unforgettable. And when dried and made into a tea, it actually carries a hint of bitterness. This magical tea is gentle, comforting, but also a little bit wild and unexpected. So if you were drawn to this honeysuckle tea, I get the feeling that there's a good chance that your love story can reveal some contrast, like opposites attracting in the best and most magnetic kind of way. This kind of connection doesn't come from finding someone who's exactly like you. It comes from meeting someone whose energy, habits, or way of seeing the world is different from yours, but somehow it just fits perfectly. It's not always seamless at first. There may be sparks, misunderstandings, or even a little bit of friction. But underneath all that, there's a pull that neither of you can ignore. Like honeysuckle vines winding around a tree, your differences make the connection stronger, more beautiful, and more alive. Honeysuckle symbolizes affection and enduring bonds, and this relationship between you and your person will reflect exactly that. No matter how different your personalities or backgrounds may be, there's something unshakable in the connection. It might even surprise you. Maybe you are more introverted and careful, and this person comes in like a whirlwind. They're spontaneous, they're bold, and they are full of life. Or maybe you are the risk taker, and your person is the grounding force that you've been needing. Either way, this relationship brings balance. You each offer something that the other has been missing, and when you come together, it changes you both for the better. Think of places that bring out both the wild and the sweet, which we call the in-between spaces. Maybe it's during a trip somewhere outside your comfort zone. A friend convinces you to attend a music festival, or an outdoor retreat, or just a random group trip. Maybe it's a class or event that you weren't planning to go to, something that feels a little bit off routine or out of the norm for you, but you say yes anyway. And that yes is what changes everything. Or you could be meeting during a situation where your differences are really highlighted. For example, perhaps a community event where you're both working, but you have completely different roles. Or maybe a mutual friends gathering where you have opposite vibes, but end up being completely drawn to each other. It's not going to be love at first sight for some of you, but instead it might be a little bit soft and slow. It's more like, wait, who are you? Yes, I'm curious, and I'm intrigued. Honeysuckle blooms in late spring and into summer, so the energy of this meeting could align with that time of year. But more than an actual time or date, this meeting happens during your emotional late spring to summer, which is when you've grown comfortable in your own energy, when you're not looking for someone to complete you, and when you're open to someone who might challenge you in the best way possible. If you've been feeling like life has gotten a bit too routine, too predictable, and you're craving a shakeup, this meeting may be just around the corner. Synchronicities might start showing up in funny ways. Maybe you notice couples around you that seem totally mismatched, but also completely in love. Maybe you get an urge to try something you've never done before and never would have decided to do before, like salsa dancing comes to mind, or taking a new route to work, or saying yes to that invite you were going to turn down. This for you will be the kind of love that keeps you on your toes in the best way. It's not about comfort zones or predictable routines. It's going to be about growth and curiosity and learning to love not just who someone is, but how they see the world. You and this person will challenge each other, but not in a harsh way. It's more like, I never thought of it that way before, or you make me want to be braver. This love will feel like a mix of comfort and surprise, sweet moments that catch you off guard, and then deep talks in the middle of the night, laughter when you least expect it, and over time, the things that seemed so different about the two of you will start to feel like pieces of a bigger puzzle coming together. When you're with your person, you'll feel more yourself, but also more curious and more alive. It's like the kind of connection that makes you say, I didn't know I needed this until I found it. It's like the honeysuckle blooms in unexpected places. And just like that, this love is going to show up when you're ready to embrace something or someone who's a little bit different than what you had pictured. And when that happens, it might feel quite like a whirlwind, but it's going to be a whirlwind that you'll never want to leave, because this love is sweet, it's real, and it is going to last. I have a feeling this will be a very exciting reading just based on our T interpretation, so let's jump right into it. I'll be using the Oriens Animal Tarot deck today, and we shall be doing this reading in a Person 1 and Person 2 style. Feel free to identify for yourself which one is you and which one is your person. If you seem to resonate with both sides, it's likely that you and your person are strongly mirroring each other. We'll start off with an energy check to help you make sure that this is your reading. These 2 tarot cards will represent the overall energy for you and your person. So to give us an idea of what you're like, I have, for Person 1, there is the 3 of Swords. Oh, wow. This card is represented by the Swallow. So we will call this the Swallow person. And for Person 2, we have the 3 of Cups. Oh, wow. This really is very interesting. This card is represented by the Smiling Quokka. Look at how adorable they are. First of all, I need to mention that, just like the hints from our Honeysuckle tea, it seems like you and your person are very opposite in your energies here. The 3 of Swords is such a lonely and hurt and sad energy, while the 3 of Cups is an incredibly happy, positive, and warm energy. However, you two are definitely mirroring each other too, because you are both coming out as 3s. Perhaps 3 or a multiple of 3 is an important number for you, your person, or for your first or next meeting. You may be seeing the number 3 when your meeting with your person is approaching. The repetition of the number 3 for both of you reveals that at your core, you are both yearning for the same things, which is connection and growth and emotional expansion. So let's begin with our Swallow person. This person holds the energy of the 3 of Swords. This card is traditionally associated with heartbreak and betrayal and grief, as well as pain that cuts deep to our core. But in this deck, something really stands out to me, and this is the fact that the 3 swords here are not piercing the swallow. In the traditional artwork, the 3 of Swords shows a heart being pierced by 3 swords. But we can clearly see here that the swallow is not hurt by the swords. This means that although pain has come close and perhaps has even tried to take this person down, they have managed to dodge it or to not get hit down by it, and they're able to grow from it and fly on. This is someone who is incredibly resilient. Someone who has likely been through deep and emotional and painful experiences. For some of you, this could be an intense betrayal, the loss of a loved one, or a relationship that ended with more questions than answers, and more hurt than gain. But instead of turning bitter or closed off, this person has become sharp-minded and courageous and definitely very self-respecting. Swords is the suit of air, and it represents intellect and communication. So this swallow person may be very highly intelligent and logical and deeply honest. They can handle the truth, even when it hurts. They may be the type to see through masks, and they will cut through pretense very easily. If this is you, you are someone who does not entertain surface-level connections. You're seeking something real, something deep, and something that you are willing to wait for. The swallow as an animal is symbolic of perseverance and also hope. These birds return after long migrations. They always find their way home. So the swallow may be someone who has wandered through pain, but still holds onto hope, and they will never lose their way. Their energy is already facing the quokka because, as we can see, the swallow card shows the swallow positioned toward the quokka card. This could be an indication that this person is open and curious, and perhaps even subconsciously already aware that the Quokka might be someone special to them. So now let us meet the Quokka person. They are radiating the vibrant energy of the Three of Cups. This person is light. They are joyful, sociable, and also emotionally very attuned. The Three of Cups is about celebration and friendship and connection and community. So this is someone who likely has a strong network of loved ones, and they know exactly how to make others feel seen and safe, and they approach life with a glass half full kind of attitude. The quokka is also an adorable animal. This animal is known for its cheerful face, often looking as if it's smiling. And just like the card's meaning, this person likely has an infectious warmth. They're someone who lights up rooms, and they're quick to laugh, and they make others feel comfortable just by being themselves. This person could be a social butterfly or someone with many interests and hobbies, or they have a natural curiosity for people and the world around them. They are represented by these three quokkas, as we can see on this card, and each of the quokkas is facing a different direction. This tells us that the quokka person could be inquisitive and adventurous, and maybe they have a heart that is always reaching outward and interested in everything going on. One of these quokkas is facing toward the swallow. So while this person may be scattered across many interests or social circles, they are certainly sending energy toward our swallow person, whether consciously or unconsciously. This quokka is a giver of light. They see the beauty in others, and even if they've experienced pain of their own, which for many of you it's very likely that they have, the quokka has developed a way to remain open and optimistic. For some of you who picked this reading, the quokka person might be someone that the swallow already knows through a mutual friend group or social setting. They might be the person who made the swallow laugh when the swallow didn't think that they could still laugh because they've gone through so much hardship and pain and heartbreak. If you haven't met your person yet, the quokka person might be walking into the swallow's life through a joyful setting, like a celebration, a birthday, a wedding, or a small community gathering, or even something as simple as a shared hobby or an interest group. Though you and your person might come through different emotional worlds, one from the solitude of pain and reflection, while the other from joy and openness, you both shared this number 3, and this is not coincidental. Threes in tarot and numerology symbolize growth, communication, creativity, and connection. You may mirror each other in ways you didn't expect. Perhaps the swallow longs for the kind of joy the quokka brings, and the quokka secretly longs for the kind of depth that the swallow holds. Together, you two create a balanced emotional spectrum, one with grounded sensitivity as well as practical optimism. If you are still waiting to meet your person, it's possible that you might start seeing the number 3 on clocks, license plates maybe, receipts, and this will act as a little nudge from the universe that you are getting closer to each other. For some, a significant moment might happen on the 3rd of a month, or perhaps in March, or it might involve 3 people, such as a mutual friend or a third party. And if you have already met your person, these cards are here to tell you that the contrast between you two is not a weakness, it's your harmony. You each offer what the other needs, and together you are more complete. Moving on to the next part of your reading, let's take a look at where each person is when you are just about to meet each other. These cards will tell us your and your person's energies at the moment of your first or next meeting. For the swallow, we have the 6 of Pentacles with 3 little meerkats on it. Wow. This card is looking a lot like the Quagga card, actually. And for the Swallow's Oracle card, we have Simplicity. I love this card. For our Quagga person, the tarot card that we got is the Ten of Pentacles, which is represented by the whale. And for the Quagga's Oracle card, there is Shifting Universes. The Swallow's journey has been remarkable already, and here we see them in a stage of healing, rebalancing, and reconnecting with the world around them. I am really happy to see this for the Swallow. The Six of Pentacles is all about giving, receiving, and generosity. After the heartbreak and solitude represented by our Three of Swords, the Swallow is now entering a much more grounded and emotionally sustainable phase. There are these 3 meerkats on this card, and this is a beautiful confirmation again for our number 3 that we've seen in this reading. But now these 3s aren't about sorrow or solitude for the Swallow. Instead, they're about support and connection and teamwork. Because meerkats are creatures that live in communities, and they take turns standing guard for one another. They're always watching out for the group. This suggests that for many of you, this Swallow person is finally feeling safe. They are allowing themselves to lean on others again. They might be building a new friend group or joining a helpful community, or maybe it's just that they're beginning to trust the goodness of others again. Once they were facing the world alone, but now they're learning that they don't have to do that anymore. Perhaps financially or energetically, the Swallow is also in a place where they're abundant and they're now able to give to others. This is someone who's becoming a protector, a giver, and a contributor. They're no longer just surviving, they're now finding ways to live meaningfully and also to help others. Then we have our Simplicity Oracle card. This card is like a deep exhale. It's about coming home to the small, beautiful things, like the taste of tea in the morning, the feel of sunlight on your skin, the sound of birds in springtime. This person is reconnecting to the present moment. They're no longer chasing the past or being afraid of the future. They are healing. I want to read you the poem from this card, and it is really short and simple and sweet. It reads, "There is peace for one whose heart is open." And that's the most powerful part of all, the fact that our Swallow's heart is opening. This card is also the number 4, and this suggests a leap forward from the earlier 3 energy. 4 brings stability and order and protection. It tells us that for so many of you who picked this pile, the Swallow is no longer in pain. They are building something that will last the test of time. On the other hand, we have the Quagga person also entering a very special stage of their life. The 10 of Pentacles is the card of culmination and abundance and legacy. It represents someone who has built or is about to complete something that is very great in value. This could be their career or a major life goal, a move or inner shadow work that they've been doing and working on over time. This card is represented by the whale, and the whale is a creature of immense wisdom and strength. Whales also live long lives, and they live in the deepest of waters. They know how to navigate the unseen, and they have an unshakable presence. The Quagga might appear lighthearted and bubbly on the surface, but do not underestimate their depth, because they are someone who is emotionally mature and steady and deeply rooted, especially at this stage in their journey. The Shifting Universes Oracle card tells us that this person is standing at the edge of a major life shift. They've outgrown something, whether it's a way of living, maybe of thinking, or even of being. and they're just about to step into a new, brighter version of themselves. The energy of this card is joyful and expansive. It says that this person is not clinging on to the old. Instead, they are walking eagerly into the unknown, and they're doing so very open-heartedly, and they are full of hope. So what exactly is this shift that's coming? For many of you who picked this pile, it could very well be this meeting between you and your person. Both of you are in earth energy now because you are both represented by pentacles. And earth energy is a powerful energy that shows us that this connection is about building something lasting and something real. You are both coming from different emotional worlds, but at the moment of your meeting, you'll be standing on very similar and solid ground. You're both stable and full of abundance. It's really cool that the Swallows card with the 3 meerkats looks very similar to the Quokkas card with the 3 joyful quokkas. It shows us that the Swallow's energy is transforming. It is softening, it is healing, and aligning more with the same vibrant, connected energy that the Quokka has been living in this whole time. The Quokka is preparing for a new universe as well, and the Swallow is finally at peace enough to receive love. This meeting, whether it's your first or your next, it will not happen in chaos or heartbreak. It will only happen when both of you are ready and open and grounded. So you will recognize each other, not necessarily by fireworks, but instead by a strong sense of security. So you will be feeling seen and respected, and you'll feel so safe in each other's presence. I'm really happy to see that the Swallow will work on their pains first, prior to welcoming in the Quokka. I think this is very responsible and helps to build the foundations for a healthy relationship. These next cards will give us some clues about how you and your person will be meeting for your first or next time. The Swallow person has the card, the Empress. Wow! This card has a beautiful image of a stork spreading her wings. And for the Swallow person, the oracle card we got is Dance of the Planets. For the Quokka, we have, oh wow, it's the Death card. And this card has 2 axolotls on it. For the oracle card, we have Towering Magnificence. Okay, first of all, both of the tarot cards are major arcana, which means this moment for both of you is extremely significant, transformative, and meaningful. Whether this is your first or next meeting with your person, this meeting will mark a very major turning point for both of you. Let's begin with the Empress card. This is one of the most powerful and tender and radiant cards in the entire tarot. Here, the Empress is represented by a stork, which is a bird known not just for birth and new beginnings, but also for grace and a gentle nature. The Swallow, who we saw before to be living in the icy clarity of Source energy, is now stepping into such warmth and also divine femininity, as well as a sensual connection. Whether the Swallow person identifies with the divine feminine or not, the point of the Empress card here is that it tells us the Swallow will be embracing softness again. They will be learning how to listen to their heart and give time to love and pleasure and emotional intimacy. The Swallow will be returning to their own essence of not trying to figure everything out and not doing everything intellectually, but instead they're learning to be more in their feeling and to move forward in that way. And this heart-led journey will be what leads the Swallow directly to the Quokka. This card also speaks to beauty and attraction. The Swallow may be just glowing at the time of the meeting, whether due to emotional healing or creative expansion, or simply they're just being in touch with their truest self. Regardless of what the reason is, it's going to make the swallow so magnetic, and they're going to be radiating a nurturing energy that draws others in naturally without effort. With the Dance of the Planets Oracle card, we see cosmic timing at play. This card literally shows two figures moving in sync, like dancers, like soulmates, and like fate itself weaving them together. It suggests that something is going to align, perhaps through timing or environment or a shared event or activity that's going to allow you two to meet. This card could point to a collaborative space, be it a social gathering, a creative project where you work together, even a spiritual workshop, or even something rhythmic or artistic like actual dancing or music or movement. It could also symbolize the feeling of dancing, like that spontaneous kind of flow between two people, which is natural and beautifully coordinated. The swallow may not plan to meet the quokka, but everything around them, including the time, the place, the emotional current, everything will be humming in the right tune. Now then, on the quokka side of the meeting, this tells a slightly different story, but it's just as powerful. The Death card is represented here by two axolotls, and this card tells us that for many of you, the quokka is undergoing a deep transformation. There is a chapter that is closing. Maybe it's something internal, like shedding old habits or outgrowing a phase of their identity. Or for others of you, it could be something that's a little bit more tangible, like a career change, a graduation, the end of a relationship, or a shift in purpose. Just like we saw earlier with the Shifting Universes card, this transformation is not an ending, it's a beginning. The axolotls are a particularly great symbol here because they're creatures of regeneration. They can literally regrow parts of themselves, and that's exactly what the quokka is doing. They're healing, they're renewing, and they're also evolving. But the real key here to understanding the quokka side of the meeting lies in their oracle card, which is Towering Magnificence. This is such a striking card. Its energy is so sudden, but profound and radiant, very much like a spiritual or emotional lightning strike, but it's a positive one, because this card always reminds me of the Tower card in traditional tarot, except this tower is not about destruction. Instead, it is more about elevation. The quokka will be lifted up in some sudden and surprising way. Something amazing will happen, perhaps outside of their control, and this amazing thing will be what propels them straight toward the swallow person. This could be, for some of you, a surprise opportunity. It could be an invitation, a moment of clarity, or even a dramatic shift in environment. It's going to be something that disrupts the status quo, but it's going to do so in a rather beautiful way. It's kind of like the moment where you think, wait, is this really happening? And yes, it is. The universe is clearing a path for the quokka. With the Swallow's Empress card and the quokka's Death card, these two are kind of opposites in several ways, but together they paint a really beautiful picture of creation through transformation. The swallow is blooming into their softness, while the quokka is shedding old skin to emerge renewed. One is becoming while the other is releasing, but both of you are preparing to step into something amazing and real. And because both of these are major arcana cards, this meeting is definitely not random. It is destined, it is significant, and it will leave an important imprint on both people's lives. Another important note that I want to make here, on the cards themselves, the stork, for the Empress, is facing the axolotls on the Death card, but the axolotls are facing each other, and they're not yet looking at the stork. This suggests that for a lot of you, the swallow may be the one who initiates the meeting, or they're the one who feels the spark first. The quokka could be a little bit more introspective at the time, or they're still focused on their personal transformation. Regardless, the universe is conspiring to bring you two together in the most poetic of ways, not by force, but through readiness. Each of you will be where you need to be, and you will be whole and open and aligned when this dance begins. So let us move on to the most exciting part of your reading, which is where we find out what actually goes on during your first or next meeting with your person. We shall see what thoughts and feelings are going on within each person when you meet, and also your impressions of each other from the meeting. So for our swallow, we actually had a card explosion when I was trying to pull one tarot card for you. So this means to me that the swallow person was very overwhelmed with so many feelings that they really just wanted to blurt everything out. But finally, we had one tarot card come out, and this card is the High Priestess with an image of this beautiful wolf. And for the Oracle card, we have Earth Angel. Wow, this is really beautiful energy. And for the quokka person, our tarot card is the Page of Wands with this adorable little red panda. And the Oracle card we got is Riding the Cosmic Wave. Whether this is your very first meeting or a pivotal next meeting in your journey together, this energy here is unmistakable. This is going to be a very special and even sacred moment. The feelings here are intense, almost overwhelming, and even if the words you exchange and actually say are few, your souls are going to be speaking volumes. Like I mentioned earlier, when I pulled for the swallow's feelings, the deck itself told us how intense this moment would be by giving us that card explosion. This tells us that the swallow is flooded with emotion. There's just so much they want to say and tell the quokka. So many thoughts and memories surging up all at once. But what finally emerged from the swirl of emotion was our High Priestess card. And it shows a beautiful wolf beneath the moonlight. It is quiet and watchful and knowing and trusting their intuition. This card is very profound in its meaning. It tells us that the swallow does not need proof or time or logic to understand what's happening in this meeting. They don't need any of these things because they just know. Something in their soul recognizes the quokka. There's an intuitive voice that says, "It's you, I found you." And the swallow may not say this out loud. In fact, for many of you, they probably do not say this out loud. They may still have their guard up, just like how the wolf is cautious but also wise. But in reality, it's as though everything the swallow has been quietly praying for is now standing in front of them in the form of the quokka. And then we have the Oracle card, Earth Angel. So every Journey of Love card has a poem, but this card gets two, and both of them really reflect the swallow's awestruck state in this very moment. The swallow is feeling like the quokka is not just a person, they are light in human form. Let us start with taking a look at the first poem for Earth Angel. It goes, Earth Angel, you carry the world in your robes and heaven in your hair. You bring me a special gift now, responding to my prayer. Though sometimes I may feel that I am struggling or alone, you come to me now and carry me into my heart. You bring me home. Even from the darkest depths, I rise up to meet your light. I cannot be separated from the divine. I cannot be separated from the light. This is what the swallow's inner voice is saying. They may have been feeling isolated, hidden, or even broken before, but meeting the quokka in this moment stirs something beautiful and ancient. The quokka just feels for the swallow like home. And for your second poem, It reads, "Thank you for walking with me. Before you climbed up here, I was afraid. I had risked everything by holding out my hand, and now, as I share your joy and excitement at being a friend, I realize I may have to run to catch up with you." This second poem captures the contrast in energy. If you've already met your person before, this next meeting might have the swallow feeling like they're spinning. They might seem composed on the outside, but inside, their spiritual senses and their intuition will be ringing. For a few of you, the swallow might actually need some space after the meeting to process what they felt, because for them it was something amazing, and not just simply attraction, it was something as strong as soul recognition. For those of you who have not yet met, when you do have this first meeting, the swallow might be a little bit quiet. They might hold back their words, but inside, their heart will be roaring. So pay attention to any intuitive nudges and gut feelings, and try to tune into the energy in the air, because for both the swallow and the quokka, you'll both just know that this is your person. As for the other side of this moment with the quokka, we have energy that is bright and curious and full of sparks. Their card is the Page of Wands, and this brings a fresh energy of excitement and creative possibility, and a sense of, wait, what is this? This feels amazing. The quokka, as we saw from earlier in your reading, is a usually bubbly and extroverted spirit, but something about this moment really turns their energy a little bit upside down, just like the little red panda on the image in this card. The quokka might be suddenly feeling a little bit shy, a little bit bashful, which is probably more rare for them, but it makes them incredibly endearing. The swallow is touching them in such a way that goes deeper than most. And this isn't just another social interaction for the quokka. It is a spark with depth and soul behind it. The Page of Wands is about that spark of passion or creation. But because it is page energy, for a few of you, this could be the source of where that newness or timidness or bashfulness is coming from. The quokka is feeling inspired and lit up and curious. They want to know more, do more, and say something clever, maybe even initiate a little flirtation or a bold move. But then they pause because this moment is just so big. It feels so special and so important, and they feel their usual confidence turn into something a little bit softer. And with their oracle card, which is riding the cosmic wave, this really just affirms it all. Just like the swallow's earlier Dance of the Planets card, our riding the cosmic wave card is all about divine timing, about destiny, and trusting the flow of the universe. There is also a beautiful poem from the guidebook for this card, so let me read it for you here. It says, "Your spirit flies like the wind, warms like the sun, and watches like the sky. How wise the earth, waiting for the moment to be touched." This is how the quokka sees the swallow. They see them as someone mysterious but warm, someone gentle but powerful. The quokka feels so drawn in. The quokka wants to get closer, to reach out and to touch. Maybe just a brush of the hands, a hug, a moment of shared laughter. It feels so sweet, but also at the same time, it feels electric. If you've already met your person, for this next meeting, the quokka might really light up when they see the swallow. They may have some playful energy, a shy glance, a feeling of, I want to talk to you, but I don't really know how to start. But deep down, the quokka is feeling that this is what was supposed to happen. They just know it in their heart that they're supposed to be facing the swallow. And if you haven't met your person yet, for your first meeting, the moment you meet, for the quokka, it's going to feel like instant sparks. Maybe there will be a little blush, or a little laugh at their nervousness. In any case, this meeting is pure yin and yang. The High Priestess has this beautiful moon and the wolf, while the Page of Wands has this bright yellow sunny background and this cute little red panda. Together, you create this divine contrast of intuition and impulse, stillness and spark, mystery and joy. Yet, you two are mirroring each other so deeply, just like the images on your oracle cards, which actually look like they could be the same person. Both of you will be feeling the impact of this moment, but in slightly different ways. The swallow is going to be moved on such a deep soul level. They're going to be feeling like their prayers have been answered. While for the quokka, they're going to be feeling lit up by possibility, by curiosity, and feeling that this is not just a crush, it is something cosmic and it is something destined. Whether this is your first or your next meeting with your person, the message here is really clear. The message is, this is a meeting that is written in the stars. It's going to be a meeting that leaves an everlasting imprint on both of your hearts. Finally, for the last part of your reading, I have a few cards here to give us some advice on what might hinder your first or next meeting with your person and what could help speed up this meeting. Let us start off with the things that could hinder you. We have one Soul's Journey card and one Moonology Manifestation card. For your first card, there is Judgment, and its message is, I understand that everyone has their own unique path and challenges. And your second card is New Moon in Gemini with the message, Think It Through. Our Judgment card carries a message of release. Perhaps release from shame, from comparison, from internal and external judgment. For many of you, this card points directly to our swallow person, who we saw their journey has not been easy. There have been heartbreaks, betrayals, or long seasons of solitude even. So when someone like the quokka appears, and they are appearing so radiant, so sociable and warm, it is possible that the swallow quietly thinks to themselves that the quokka is too good for them. They might begin to self-sabotage without even realizing it. They might hesitate to reach out and not reply, or assume rejection before anything even happens. It's not going to be because the swallow doesn't care. It's going to be because they care too much and they might fear not being enough. But for some of you, especially if you are the quokka, this card might reveal your own secret fear. And this fear could be the pressure to have it all figured out. Our quokka is admired and relied upon, and often they're playing the role of the happy one. But Judgment here says that underneath the bright exterior, there might be a little voice that says, what if I mess this up? What if I'm not ready? And in this way, self-judgment could be a blockage for the quokka in this connection. And in more complex cases, this card could even speak to other people's opinions. Other people might be family, friends, or society projecting their ideas onto your relationship. Someone might say that the two of you don't match in background, in experience, or in lifestyle, and unfortunately those voices can really sneak into your mind and affect the connection negatively by messing with your confidence or trying to cloud your inner voice. But the wisdom of this card is in this line, saying everyone has their own unique path and challenges, and that includes you. That includes your person. Love is not being perfect. It's about being true. If you've already met your person, notice if hesitation or distance is coming from a fear of being judged for your past, your emotions, or how different you might be. One or both of you may be keeping a protective wall up, or afraid of how the other might see you. But the Judgment card encourages you to remember that this connection is about the soul, and not about what you've achieved or how you look on paper. For those of you who have not yet met your person, this fear might still be working under the surface. You or your person could be unconsciously avoiding opportunities to meet. You might be telling yourselves that you're not ready or not worthy. The remedy here is to have self-compassion. Trust that your person is not looking for a perfect partner. They're just looking for you. At first glance, the new moon in Gemini card seems like a wise and practical message, but paired with the Judgment card, it reveals something a little bit deeper. And this would be the danger of overthinking. It is about being so caught up in your own thoughts or plans or worries that you overanalyze the feeling right out of a situation. Gemini energy is curious and sharp, but when unbalanced, it can spin into doubt loops. The mind keeps playing both sides, asking what if, and what does this mean, and it might play this loop over and over again, but it's never going to decide and never going to act. This could look like the swallow person constantly replaying old wounds and asking, what if I get hurt again? Or it could be the quokka over-strategizing every step and thinking, should I wait for the right time? What if I say the wrong thing? In any case, both of you might be reading too much into silence, hesitation, or miscommunication, and this could be creating drama in your heads that doesn't actually exist. And we have a timing clue here too from the new moon in Gemini card. It could be around late May, which is the beginning of Gemini season. And during this time, this could be when you're feeling particularly restless or anxious or indecisive. And the lesson here is that you don't have to have it all figured out to move forward. You just need to follow what feels true and not necessarily what sounds perfect in theory. For those of you who think you've already met your person, you might be caught in a loop of overanalyzing what they said, what you said, or where things are going. This can cause emotional withdrawal or delay a deeper connection. If you're waiting for a perfect sign to reach out or open up, this card is gently telling you to stop thinking and to start feeling. And for those of you who have not yet met your person, perhaps one or both of you could be so tangled up in your thoughts that you are blocking your intuitive senses. These two cards highlight the inner barriers that could be keeping you and your person from having this first or next meeting. Both cards, though, are asking you to stop doubting your worth and to stop talking yourself out of things and to just trust your heart over your mind. Finally, we shall definitely end on a good note, so let's take a look at what factors will help speed up your first or next meeting. For your soul's journey card, we have forgiveness with the message, I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. And for your Moonology card, we have new moon in Aries with the message, go for it. The forgiveness card is a perfect answer to the blockages we just saw. If judgment was the emotional roadblock, forgiveness is the release that lets love finally move forward. For our swallow person, this card carries very deep meaning. With their tender heart and past pains, it's very natural to carry on old scars. They may have worked hard to protect themselves, maybe a little too hard. But even if they don't mean to, that pain can quietly leak out as hesitation, as distrust, or sharpness when they're scared. But forgiveness here is not about excusing the people who hurt them. It's about choosing to be free. Free to love again, to hope again, to not let someone else's cruelty dim down their light and delay their happiness. And for those of you who have already met your person, this card might be a sign that something between you two needs to be released. Perhaps there was a miscommunication, a missed chance, or a moment when one or both of you felt unseen or misunderstood. Letting go of that pain, especially if it's lingering, is what will reopen the channel between you two. For the Quagga person, forgiveness might be in the form of forgiving themselves. If the Quagga is used to being upbeat and steady and having everything together, they might carry guilt over moments when they didn't know how to help or they weren't able to fix things or have the right answer. But love is not about being perfect, it's about being present. And forgiveness will really soothe the Quagga's heart and allow them to move toward the swallow with all of their warmth and sunshine. Forgiveness will be the act to clear the path. It's like cutting the cords that tied you to your past weights so that you can finally walk freely into your future. Forgiveness will be like the open heart, and Aries energy will be the bold step forward. This is pure fire energy. It is creation, it is courage, it is the spark, and it is forward momentum. After all the deep emotions of this reading, this card arrives like a burst of fresh air. It's telling us to stop thinking, stop fearing, just do the thing. While New Moon in Gemini, which is your previous blockage card, had you overthinking and talking yourself out of things, Aries does not wait. It acts, it leaps, it trusts the fire in the belly and the tug in the chest. This is especially meaningful for those of you who have been waiting for that right moment, because Aries says there is no perfect time, only the time that you choose. For the swallow person, this could look like taking the leap to trust the Quagga, even if it's scary. It could be the swallow person initiating contact or saying yes to a chance that they might usually talk themselves out of. It could also be, for some of you, the swallow person finally believing that they're worthy of this love, and so they can show up with openness instead of self-protection. For the Quagga person, this energy is right in their wheelhouse, but with a slight twist. As we saw in their earlier cards, for some of you, the swallow could be making the Quagga feel a little bit shy. Aries energy will help the Quagga push through that rare shyness and make that real move, whether it is reaching out, planning a meeting, saying how they truly feel, or simply showing up in a bold and honest way. And just like how Gemini season was a time to be cautious of mental spirals, Aries season, especially beginning of Aries season, since we have the new moon, which would be late March, this could be a time that will be crucial to take action. Even if this time has recently passed for you, the energy is going to linger. And the message here is that you should move with fire, not fear. This will be the moment to step out of the waiting room and into the world. Love is not an idea, it is a force, and it needs action to bloom. What could help you move forward and toward each other will be a powerful emotional and energetic 1-2 punch. 1 being forgiveness, telling you to let go of what no longer serves you, especially the pain that you do not deserve. And 2 being new moon in Aries, telling you to take that leap forward. Do not wait for love to knock twice. Together, they are the green light from the universe. If you've already met your person, let go of whatever's been weighing you down or holding either of you back. You don't need to keep replaying the past to protect yourselves from future pain. If there's love there, then go for it. Whether it's a message, a meetup, or a heart-to-heart, do the brave thing. For those of you who have not yet met, the combination of these 2 cards could be creating the conditions that finally bring your paths together. This could mean making a bold choice, changing your routine, joining a new space, or opening your heart just a little bit wider. The universe is going to meet you halfway when you show it you're ready. So, my dear honeysuckle soul, this ends your reading with a golden promise. Everything you're longing for is possible. And what speeds it up is not waiting for the perfect moment, but forgiving the past and seizing the present. Your story is unfolding exactly as it's meant to, and soon that sweet first or next meeting with your person is going to come, and it is closer than you think. Those are all the messages I have for you today. It has been my pleasure and honor to do this beautiful reading for you. I really hope you enjoyed it. As always, please feel free to claim all the messages you would like. I'd also like to ask you to remember that this is a general reading, so please don't worry if not every single message was for you. Also, as always, please remember that we all have the abilities to shape our own destinies. So feel empowered, because if there's something you don't like in your reading, trust that you absolutely have the power to influence it and change it. Please let me know in the comments below if things resonated for you, and please feel free to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.